And we're back with the next episode of the Irrelevant Podcast. I am your host, Will, joined once again by Jason, ya boy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. I don't know what else to call you, but it's Jason.
I have many names.
What's your middle name, if you don't mind me asking?
Winnebago.
What is it actually, though?
It's Winnebago.
Okay, no, it's not.
I can go for 10 minutes just giving you fake middle names.
All right, fine. All right. So you just want to get right into the recommendation?
I don't give any fucks at all.
All right. So, um, Jason recommended to me a band I had never heard of called Latitudes, and he sent me a pretty short playlist of 7 songs that I guess he thought were the best, and he wanted me to listen to.
Yeah, these are my favorites.
Yeah. Okay. So, could you give me a little more background about the band?
Yep. So Latitudes are, excuse me, a band from England, and they kind of implement a lot of most of their stuff kind of sounds like melodic black metal, but it's not like dark and depressing. It's more like melancholic and like kind of like that sad, beautiful sort of range. But the vocals are, and I like this band. Like this is kind of like the downfall and also the charm of some of these bands is the vocalist is really known for using his voice as an instrument. So a lot of it is held notes and kind of in the background, soft melodies. None of it's screaming. It's all just very soft vocals, and a lot of the melodies are speed picked or tremoloed, but they have some like riffage in there. But a lot of it is like trancey and just you can kind of space out to it. It's good for like late night drives and all that. So this one was, I didn't know if you were gonna like this one or not, but I enjoy these guys a lot.
I did. I did like this. It keeps proving to me how progressive metal is it's one of the best genres out there, I think.
I don't know if they would
Um,
consider this prog. This is more like, we can get as pretentious
I
as we
would.
want with the subgenres, but like it's more
Yeah,
of
I
like
know.
it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of like psychedelic blackened metal, I guess. I don't
I
know.
mean
Also, maybe a
that's
little bit of post in there.
yeah, I mean that's kind of prog though.
I mean,
Isn't it?
prog to me is
Well,
like much of like wanky rhythms and leads, like meter changes, time changes, all that shit.
I guess it felt like prog for me because I got a bunch of Mastodon vibes.
Yeah,
And Mastodon, we've talked about them. They're great. They're already like in my top 3 bands. It's just like I guess progressive metal in the way I understand it. It's like that metal that's like it's aggressive and it's dark and brooding, but at the same time it's like sad and peaceful and beautiful, and it also like did I say it's melodic?
you might have. But yeah,
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
I agree.
so
Like a lot of
yeah,
bands
like
can tip to either scale. Not many do all of them at the same time. But yeah, these guys have lean on more of the melancholic, melodic kind of thing.
yeah, and also like I mean obviously every genre has its ranges and subgenres and different styles of how you can do a genre, but I think progressive metal it's very adaptable, I think. Um but also like I think you can so tell when a song is prog metal, I think. Just not just like you said with all those like weird crazy rhythms and stuff like that, but it just has that sound. It's very hard to describe. Like it's very attention grabbing. It's very ominous and it's also very like ethereal, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think you
that's
can
the
see
one
what
I
I'm
get
getting at.
for. Yeah, I do, and I get ethereal a lot for this one, especially. I don't know. Did you get a chance to look at the album covers?
I did. I was going to talk about that. So, for the songs um that Jason recommended because I know you guys don't know what songs we're talking about right now.
We don't even know an
Um
album.
Yeah. So Jason recommended from what's the name of this album? I can't see.
I
So
think I did
from
like 3 albums of songs total that I like that are
yes,
my favorites.
yeah. So Old Sunlight. Jason recommended Body Within a Body, In Russia's Bound and Altarpieces. From Agonist, Jason recommended Antechamber and Hunting Dance. And from Part Island, Jason recommended The Great Part and Underlie.
I think it's
Um,
The Great Past.
what about it?
I think the song is The Great Past, not The Great Part.
No, yeah, I was talking about the album. Yeah, the
Oh, okay,
song.
never mind.
This.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. The song's The Great Past. I was saying the album is Part Island.
Okay,
Maybe,
sorry. I like mixed the two in my head. Never mind.
God, stop confusing me, Jason. um,
Sorry.
yeah, I thought they were all really good songs. The one that really stood out to me was Antechamber.
Yeah, so that's actually the first song I ever heard from them. That's like a very
Mm,
like, and that's what
okay.
I'm saying with his vocals being used as an instrument. That part where he comes in, he sounds like he's whining that like really like waily, just like heartfelt like note that he does, and the vocal it's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
it's like the Tool thing, but I think they do it a lot more than Tool does. The vocals are very low in the mix. So it's like they're really just part to be part of the background. So like the vocals are definitely not center stage in this band, and a lot of people don't like that because they're so used to most bands having the vocals be the center point and also the focal point. So it's like they can't really
Get
get
that,
into
yeah.
bands that don't have that. But I really enjoy it. Yeah, Antichamber was like the first song I heard. I was like, dude, this is fucking different. I like this a lot.
I remember I showed my little sister Reflection, and then she was like, "Is there any words in this 11-minute song?" You know, like
It's like
it's
a 4 minute intro.
right. It's 4 minutes in, and then yeah. But Antechamber, I love the intro. It just and I love this that I'm a sucker for the motive of like whether this was the intention or not of like the we're in hell, we're fighting our way out and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's such a timeless.
you got
Um,
that feeling from that song.
I got that feeling from a lot of these songs. I don't like I said, I don't know if that's what they were going for. That's what I got out of it. Also,
I
I
think
love.
it's
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I think to me, like it's. I mean, because I feel that with some of the songs, not with all of them, but I can see like because it has like an ominous sort of atmosphere. It's like being comfortable in that. So it's like you're not afraid of it. There, if you're there to do battle, or you're there to cope with whatever problems that you're going through. So it's like an overcoming type of feeling. I guess is what I could feel like
Right,
relates.
like it. I guess for not like for sorry. I guess like it won't necessarily be that way for everyone, because like not everyone gets that demon hell vibe, but that's what I get. I mean, I know like everyone, you can overcome a struggle as small as like I'm gonna finish reading my book or something. um, but I just feel like, especially with like the chord progression and like the note selection, which I think are very good.
Yeah,
I just that I love complimenting note selection. I'm just like, yes, thank you for doing that note. Like it's so good.
yeah.
And I love notes choices that like kind of not confuse me or piss me off, but just kind of like, huh, you know?
It's an interesting choice.
Exactly. And not, and also like, there's sometimes where I'm like, okay, that just sounds bad. And you were just trying to do something that was like,
Yeah, it's like using dissonance to cause tension, but it's just like way too much dissonance.
yeah, I'm trying to think of an example of a song that does that. That, but I'm blanking. But you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, a lot of like super like hardcore bands or deathcore beatdown or like they always do like a bunch of like random noises that don't fit in the actual context of the song. They just use it as a dramatic effect. And
Kind
sometimes
of.
it's cool and sometimes
Yeah.
it's really fucking annoying.
Yeah, actually, I have thought of so I kind of get that from like Nirvana.
Well, in their case, he just wasn't polished. Like they were just raw, so I think like it wasn't like deliberate note choices. It was just we're gonna do what we're gonna do.
Yeah, like they're one of those bands where I get why people like them. I just think like it was just because of the time that they were in, really.
I see.
But we could talk about that in a second. The album cover for Agonist I thought was fantastic. I love the color tone. I love just that image of a boar, and then like the wolf or whatever it is next to it, and it looks kind of scared. It's just
Yeah,
it's and like I said, the color tone, that like slight yellow.
sepia kind of thing.
Yeah, where it's black
Yeah,
and white, yeah, but it's like instead of being white, it's like this kind of slightly
tint.
tinted yellow. It gives
Yeah,
this real sense of unease.
my favorite one is the old Sunlight. That's my favorite album cover from them,
Uh,
with the one with the head.
eh, that one's not
You know,
really my thing.
I just like that kind of style of like colors and things. But yeah, I like the because it's like a classical painting almost. That's why I like those. The one on the agonist.
Yeah,
Um,
I
the
guess the
other, yeah,
sorry,
sorry.
I don't know. I guess like the album cover for Sunlight, like I get what it's going for, and like you said, I do like the colors, and I like how the colors are like kind of muted so that they're not like just in your face. I like the design on the bottom. It's just like I don't know, something about the face. It just throws me off.
It's more like I like the geometric stuff that it does, and like the old. It looks like if you go to like an old folk storybook, the way that they do the lines. I've always liked that kind of style. So, but
Hmm. Yeah.
but anyway, on the other song on the Agonist was a hunting dance, and I like the rhythm on that one a lot.
Oh, me too. Yeah, those two songs were one of my favorites.
I think my
I
favorite off of the entire one is the Great Past. I love that fucking song.
that was interesting. I always like levity and stuff like that. That beginning, I mean, he's a really good singer. I don't know what's his name.
I actually don't know. I don't know much about this band. They're such a small band. They have like I think his name is John. I remember I actually sent them a message on Facebook because I wanted to cover one of their songs, and I asked him what
John.
tuning it was. Something I don't know.
Did he
I asked him
respond to
what.
you?
Yeah, he did. He told me what tuning, and I
Oh
just said
shit.
that I love your music. So like they're, I talked to one of the guys, but I don't know. They never tour. Like they're like such a small local band from the, not local band, but such a small band from the UK. I don't think they've ever done an American tour ever.
Wow, they sound very professional. I loved
Yeah,
the way that this was mixed, and I love the instrumentation.
yeah, it's
And
very well made.
yeah, I'm not able to explain it as well as like you would be able to, but yeah, like I figured you would agree with me.
Everything sounds cohesive. Like there's not one thing that sticks out like, ooh, that's not a good choice. Like everything is mixed smoothly. Nothing really just shouts out at you. Everything is balanced. Like it's such a soothing experience. It's always good when you have like a heavy metal track that's soothing.
Oh yeah, definitely. I get that a lot with Gojira.
Yeah. Their production is a
Even
little bit more rough around the edges on some of the stuff. They make some weird production choices, but for the most part, I do like the majority of their production. But yeah, the Latitudes, whatever the fuck they do, it sounds good. Like their tone on everything is fucking cool.
yeah, I definitely want to listen to more of them. In terms of like the smaller bands that you recommended, like Deftones, Chevelle, and all
Those are
those,
not
like
smaller bands. Those are major fucking bands.
no, I mean I'm not saying small to this scale, but
Oh,
those aren't exactly like household names though. You know, like my mom
Deftones
no,
are.
yeah, no, but like my mom doesn't know who that is. Like my mom knows who like Metallica is. My mom knows who
Well,
Megadeth is
yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Besides this, yeah. Besides the big fucking four, like Black Sabbath, like nobody's gonna know who any of these bands are. But what I'm saying is like they're massive fucking bands,
Okay, I guess
like
not.
millions of followers.
Okay, I get. Oh well, I'm sure. Okay, I guess my mom wasn't a good standard. I guess like my dad probably doesn't know who Chevelle is, probably doesn't know who Deftones is, but he does know who Tool is. He does know all those other, metal and rock bands, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah,
Yeah,
these
no,
guys are a
this
lot
is
smaller than all of them.
yeah. Or okay, I guess I'll change it to this. Out of all the bands that I had never heard of that you recommended to me,
Okay.
this is probably my favorite. Either this or Chevelle. But some of the Chevelle songs I thought were like kind of boring and like underdeveloped.
And that's the kind of thing, and I can't. I feel like I have this conversation with you every time. Like I feel like some of the songs you think are like kind of boring on this because some of them do drone on. But I know you kind of like that style, so it's like if it's not like a traditional song structure being boring, it's like the just spacing out to the melodies and just the actual sounds of it. Like the one that I thought you weren't gonna like was Alter Pieces. I just love the fucking riff on that song so much.
For Chevelle,
No, for Latitudes, the song Alter Pieces.
sculpture pieces. Okay. Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. No, I like that one. I liked all these. Like there wasn't really any one that I thought like, I like this one less than the other ones. Like I thought it was, and especially like the order and like your actual choice of songs was very nice. Like it, especially in the morning when it was just like 5 a.m. I'm out on 66, like like working and stuff like that. It was just what I needed, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things like these are like they obviously they have more albums and they have more songs, but these are like my favorite all-time songs and I didn't mean to make the list so short, but like since they were longer, I figured it's a good runtime anyway for these seven. Um,
I
because
thought it was a. I thought it was. I mean, obviously, I know you probably wanted to pick more songs, but from this, I think this was great. I liked the. It was kind of short, but not too short. Yeah.
yeah, it was a good length. But yeah. So there's that one. There's also Underlie, which is like their softer acoustic one. That one was really folky to me.
Yeah, I got that too. Yeah, the Great Past and Underlie were the two kind of most distinct ones.
Yeah, I
Are
love
those
that
the?
melody
Yeah.
from the Great Past. That like the like the end like lead melody that he does.
Yeah. Or wait, it was I think in like Body Within a Body. Like
Yeah,
there was like those boom, like those really deep notes in the background. I thought were so good. I was like, man, Jason, he did it. He did it.
yeah. They do like, and that's the cool thing I like about them a lot is like they just there's like some bands like they'll put synths and other types of sounds in excess just to say we put a cool sound, but they really are specific in the types of sounds that they actually choose. And the greatest example of that is like Antechamber, right? So that's a very simple melody, but it is very specific in how it sounds. So like if you were to like pick up your guitar and play that, it probably would sound like it would sound, it would sound good, but it wouldn't sound like fucking like it wouldn't pull any emotional strings from you. So like that's why like tone is very fucking important how something sounds versus the notes and the melodies that you're actually playing, especially when it comes to simple melodies. Like if you're not playing something that's impressive, like you really have to make sure it sounds great or sounds interesting at least. So it's like that very clean, just I can't even describe the way that guitar part just comes in. It's just super soft and like it's foreshadowing something coming and then the drums kick in. It's such a fucking cool song.
Oh yeah, like I love the that kind of story esque structure of it. You know.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about with the last one, with like especially with Mastodon and with some of the Gojira's, that spirit of adventure. So like I get like insane adventure vibes with this band. Like I just want to go on some sort of journey that means something.
Yeah, I kind of got that too. Like it was some sort of like anime or something, or like some kind of show I was watching from like the early 2000s. Very very cool.
Yeah, it has like some hints of nostalgia for some reason.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I was gonna say that because I definitely have gotten that with some of the stuff you've recommended to me, but this one really did. Um, especially for like times in which like I have been alive, because like I remember I was telling how on the sword, with Warp Rider, I really got those like kind of 90s like we're jamming in the garage kind of vibes, but I wasn't
yeah.
alive during that time, right? So I don't have nostalgia for that. It just kind of made me think of like a world, I guess, or like a culture. Um, but whereas like this makes me think of like the early 2000s and like the Xbox for some reason and like other things that came out in the early 2000s, like I don't know, like The Incredibles for some reason I think falls into that. I like I just there's something about like the sci-fi fantasy kind of thing that was going on in that time. It's just I don't know if it's just because I was alive then and that's when I was really little and impressionable to those things, but that's just kind of what I get out of this, and it was really interesting experience listening to it. Not only just because of the music, but because of that kind of bizarre yet fascinating nostalgic vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time, it also feels like something in a completely different direction because like there's a lot of bands in this style, especially because like the Latitude is a very specific sound. It's like there's things they do in every song that are the same, right? So it's like they're not very diverse in what they do. Like you're not gonna have like I don't know how the best way to explain this. Like I said, it sounds like I said, most of the melodies are tremolo picked. You have some riffy stuff, some chords, and a lot of it is like synth and melodies and cool little sounds in the background. But
Oh
like the way
yeah,
they
like
do it is super fucking cool.
yeah, cuz as someone who does prefer melodic music, this, being not particularly melodic and it's more just about the actual, um, like just the actual. What's the opposite of that? Like, I don't. How would you say
What do you mean opposite of what? Melodic?
melody? Yeah, like
I'd say more rhythmic. Like most people, like, and that's a very like Neanderthal way to put it. But like, I feel like most bands are either they're very rhythmic or they're very melodic. Not very like
yeah,
really good bands can combine the two. Like I feel like Mastodon is good melodic, has good melodies, and it's good rhythmically interesting. But like, not many bands can do that. So they're either one or the other.
yeah, yeah.
It's the same thing. Like rap is a good example. Rap is super rhythmic, but there's not that many very rappers that have great melodies. And I know there's a shit ton of rappers that do have great melodies, but I'm saying as a genre overall, it's not a very melodic genre.
Oh yeah,
Besides R and
because
B and all that shit, I'm talking like straight up rap, not like soul and R&B and whatever.
definitely, yeah, yeah, because like the rap music, which is very little that I actually do like. I found that like I like it because of the actual like way that the music is constructed, because a lot of the like Kendrick is a very good example. I really like the way he uses like real world things and also like instruments and stuff like that. And I like how like some of his songs you could like play with like a band, it's really cool. Like on To Pimp a Butterfly, a lot of it's kind of jazzy, you know, but then
Yeah,
he makes it rap at the same time,
yeah.
which I think
And
is
to
really
clarify,
interesting.
I don't give a fuck if like rap doesn't need to be melodic. Like I am not one of those people that are like,
No,
oh yeah,
exactly.
I don't give a fuck. I like rap. But my point is just like it's very hard to be very good. It's hard to be talented rhythmically and also like you have great melodies. Like it's just difficult to do. So that's how I always kind of lump two categories of music.
Yeah, a good example of melodic versus rhythmic. I don't know how much you're familiar with this kind of stuff, but so like John Williams, right, is a great example of a composer who's, he's melodic. He's extremely melodic. Everyone knows the melodies he's written. He's very good at motives. He's very good at like setting up themes and attaching things and ideas to, he's excellent at that. And then the opposite of that, like the rhythmic guy would be Hans Zimmer, who's very good at like using um, you know, real world things to like fit with like the story he's telling, and he uses a lot of like ostinatos and things to just create like an atmosphere. He's more. It's not about the music. It's more about like you know. I'm not saying that the music John Williams puts in his like writes for movies doesn't fit with the movie, but you could listen to John Williams's music and it's like a symphony. It could almost be like Beethoven and other like classical Western music. Whereas like Hans Zimmer, you can listen to the music by itself, but I think it was more it's more designed for like getting you into the movie, I
Yeah,
guess, and
Hans
just
Zimmer's are way more fucking dramatic.
right, like they're more dramatic and they also feel almost like realer, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like I don't know, because obviously John Williams is more traditional and it's more like how would you say, like it's you could definitely tell it's more like it's telling a story, like the fantasy, like the good guys versus the bad guys, whereas like Hans Zimmer is like no, we're just like in the war, this is like what the world is. I don't know.
yeah,
But yeah, I
yeah.
think that Latitudes was very good at balancing both of those. Um,
Yeah,
which
a
is
lot of their
not.
stuff is their drums are very like trancey, kind of tribal rhythmic, and then the guitars that gives them the space to kind of do whatever because they don't have to focus on a specific rhythm. It's like a lot of it is just like droned out tremolo melodies, but like I said,
Yeah, and I
especially on the Great Past, they have like some riffy parts in between, and then also on some other songs too. But like
oh yeah, I
especially
mean
like
it's
Altar Pieces,
on.
like Altar Pieces is a rhythmic song really more than a melodic song.
Yeah, and like they had it all throughout their songs. Like their songs are they're varied, and that's what I really liked about. Like I never got bored listening to any of the songs, which was really nice.
Yeah, I've been listening to them for a minute, and it sucks. 'Cause, like I always the common like joke that I always have inside with myself. Like there's always a band that I really love. Like if there's a band like that, that's a band I totally want to be in if I could pick my genre of music. But like if I really think about like a band I would be super happy with being in, like they're a type of band I'd really want to be in. Like this is what I want to do. If I could make a career
Nice.
doing this type of music, oh my god, I'd fucking nut every day.
Nice.
But I the one thing I actually never really got into was the lyrics because I've never really cared to. But I'm actually kind of interested to go back into the lyrics and just see if I can even make them out.
Yeah, I did not pay attention to lyrics at all.
Yeah, they're not designed to, and that's kind of the point.
Yeah, I like that. They was just kind of putting my mind away.
Yeah.
Um,
Um. Yeah. But the themes like it's almost because like it makes you like it's the cool thing about instrumental music like it makes you force your vision upon it so it's the majority of it's instrumental and you can't really hear the majority of the lyrics so you just have to go off of the album cover and then the title track and the tracks of whatever the fuck so it's like you have to figure out like what like you make your own story to the song which is really cool and that's the one thing I've loved about instrumental music but this one is a little bit nicer because it's not like fully instrumental so like you can kind of get like a better sense of the direction that it wants to go in, and while you add your own attributes to it.
yeah. I kind of get that with Tool as well. Um, where I mean, obviously, like you can pick out the words, but like a lot of times, like you're probably not even really paying attention to it. You're probably paying attention more to the actual music. Um, wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you cut out for a second.
Oh no, I thought you cut it.
No.
Oh shit. Okay. Fuck. Um. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think Tool the vocals are more meant to be noticed, but with this, yeah, like I can't remember a word he was saying.
I just like every time I think of his vocals, I think of him like holding a very like I don't even know the word to describe it, like the way that he holds the notes, or it's just the specific way that he sings.
He's very
Like in
good
my
at
head,
that.
I can just hear the pitch that he's trying to go for. It's like that's what I attribute to his singing with, and that's why I think he's unique. And it's also because I've listened to live clips, and that style is fucking difficult to do live. Not because just the physical challenge of like you listen to very talented singers. The majority of them are very good in the rhythm. I'm sorry, in the verses part, and then some are good in the chorus. But like anytime most singers try to hold out a note live, for the most part, it's off. You know what I mean? Like it's a little off most of the time
Sure, sure.
even if they're a phenomenal singer. So it's like this style is fucking difficult to do. Just not even just to perform it, but just the way that it sounds because like you can't mix your vocals like that live. It's very difficult to do. Like that's why most of these bands are pretty much studio bands and it's probably why they don't tour that much because it's just difficult to get a good sound live. Because like
Yeah,
if it doesn't sound off, like the vocals are gonna be way too loud or just like way too quiet to where you can't hear them. So like it's hard to get that sweet spot.
I bet.
So that's the one thing that I think is, we don't. I'm sure we have the technology, but just no one's really figured out, quite yet how to make that sound good live. But I've listened to some of the tracks, like it's not bad. Like they do their best, and it's not like super super off. It's like it's a little more pitchy because the shit's so fucking loud, and you're trying to sing soft. It's difficult.
Did I ever send you that really awesome version of um Reflection, the live version?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that version multiple times, but yeah,
Yeah, that's a good example of what you were talking about. Because like I think Maynard's singing, like it's just not on par with how how it sounds in the studio. But the actual music though, I thought was like better than the studio version. I was
yeah,
blown away. I thought like that the way they performed that version, like I'm like I can't even believe like I'm at a loss for words. Like literally, it's so
yeah.
good.
And yeah, I mean, it's just the more you like, the more sounds that are added to the mix, and if your vocals are softer, it's difficult to find a way to make it poke through. But like, "Born in Winter" from Gojira is a good example. He's like, I don't even play that song live anymore because the vocals are way too low. He's like almost whispering that shit.
Mm. Yeah.
So it's like can't really do that live without making it sound utterly horrible.
Yeah. Um.
Save it for the acoustic tour.
Right. Yeah, like the unplugged tour. Gojira unplugged.
That'd be really funny. Just hear like the scraping of metal strings on the acoustic as they're speed picking them.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, but going back to the reflection. Um. Like how you were saying like how like yeah his voice is kind of drowned out a little bit, but I think it that does the song. I'm not saying like it does. It's there's like the studio version's bad, but it kind of boosts it because it brings out that like those high notes on the guitar, like the da da like the da 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 like oh it's and the way they do it,
Yeah,
they start doing it earlier in the actual song, and it's louder and you it's more apparent. It just it's so
yeah.
good. And when I listen to the studio version, I'm like, oh, that's not there.
Well, I think the one thing that's like unique about that, well, not unique about them, that's the wrong word. Like one thing that's cool about them is not even just Maynard, but everybody when they play live, they always do a little variation that they didn't do in the studio. That's really cool sounding. So like especially like when he usually changes the rhythm and the inflection a lot on the ends of the words. Like sometimes he'll do like a little run on the end of the word that he didn't do in the studio that sounds 10 times better than what he did in the studio. So I feel like he does a bunch of different takes and different styles and then picks the one that he likes the best and then he like does the rest of the ones live is what my guess would be.
Yeah, I guess because I mean, like they could do whatever they want. I mean,
That's one thing that's always irritating is like I don't want to have to find the live version of the song to hear the specific part because I like the way he does it better than on the album. It's so
yeah,
stupid.
yeah, that's kind of like when they release like alternate versions of films, and it's like, oh, that's annoying because it's like they'll have this really cool version of this edited. They have this really cool thing in this edited version of the movie, but then it's like, okay, but I also like stuff from the original cut. But then it's like, oh well, what if I want to watch? You know, he's like, this cut has this stuff, and that. I'm like, can there just be one cut? I mean, I'm not saying it has to be that way, but just sometimes it's annoying.
Yeah, it can get too much. It's like I was seeing things on this show on Netflix, Kaleidoscope, where it's like the old Goosebump books. Is like you choose where the story can go, and there's like a bunch of different endings. Like I don't have time for that. I don't want to fucking pick a goddamn storyline because then I want to watch all of them. It's just like this is stupid.
Right? It's like I'm bad at enough at making real life decisions. So
Yeah, the books were cool because I had more patience back then. Now it's like I don't want to fucking choose which shitty ending. Like just make the best one and give it to me.
yeah, just pick it for me. That's why I'm paying
Yeah.
you to do it.
Yeah, it's just like I don't care. Like I'm sure they're all gonna be shitty endings. Just fucking pick one. Pick the less shitty of them.
Yeah, I never read those books.
They are fun. I'm not gonna lie, because it's like
Really?
it's a game. Like you feel like you have fate. But then the reason why those fucked me up because I wanted to know how they all ended. So like I read the same book like 5 fucking times and it took forever.
Yeah, just to see all the endings, and then
Yeah, it's just like I don't want to do this every book.
I can imagine it's kind of predictable though. Or I don't know. I haven't read it, but I'm just asking.
I don't remember. I just remember I always flipped it because you have to keep flipping to specific pages to see what an ending is. Just like what the fuck.
Nice. Yeah, that was so annoying. Like with games, you know, where you can just like that, you could choose what your response to like in the dialogue. I'm like, okay, there's way too many options. Like this is just too much.
Yeah, I hate those kind of games. Like if I don't if I'm not already doing what I want to do, then I don't want to play it.
Yeah,
Like I hate it. Just takes too much time. I don't want to stand there while some fucking NPC's awkwardly talking really slow and I have to just like I don't even care what he's saying. I just want to play.
oh yeah, exactly. Um, nice. Yeah, so Latitudes. Definitely gonna be checking them out in the future.
Yeah, I wish they would fucking tour, man. I would love to see them live because I would be right there and like it'd be at a venue where I could actually go up and talk to the fucking band because like they'd be at their merch table or like I'd see them walking back or
Yeah.
something. So like I love a band where like I don't have to pay like over $100 and it's in a fucking arena. I can actually like go and talk to the people because I really enjoy that. I enjoy asking people how they got the dude. I don't give a fuck. I'll walk, dude. I was at a festival, this Doom festival is at this small little cafe and there's like semi big bands that were there, so it's cool. I literally walked up to like 3 different like bands and I asked them like what fucking like specific pedal they use for this one song. Like I don't give a fuck. I'll ask you anything. I love talking because like it's like part of my brain is just like this has been part of my life for so many years and I'm actually been able to like interact with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sure
So
it's cool.
I thoroughly enjoy talking to bands like that. I would see what I was thinking of doing is I don't know if you want to use this as a medium, but like I've always been like interested in doing like God damn I can't talk. fucking interviewing and just like, cause I naturally like talking to people and asking questions about what their setup is or what their music means and all that good shit. It's generally like the best conversations I've had in my life have been those.
Yeah, like I wanna go through all the podcasts and like post clips, where it's like it'll be like, Jason's take on this or Will's take on this or stuff. So like how like Joe Rogan kind of does.
Yeah, those stupid little YouTube shorts or whatever.
Yeah, because I think that
Yeah.
would just get people to be more. Because a lot of people, I guess, for a podcast, they might be turned off because it's like, oh, 3 hours long, but if they because they don't really know, I guess, necessarily what we're talking about. But then if they see clips that are really short of the specific, they're like, oh, okay, like that might be because that's how I started listening to Joe Rogan more because I didn't know who he was. I was like, oh, it's just some dude, and then I just saw some things in my recommended 3 minutes. Okay, that's an interesting topic. I'll watch that, and then so I'm definitely probably gonna start doing that soon.
Yeah, I mean it's more work, but I mean it's useful
Yeah,
if you actually like. Do you actually want to grow it?
I mean if it does, I don't know because I'm already doing a bunch of other stuff that can do a lot of stuff for me. So
Yeah,
it
I was
just
about to
it's
say you're kind of slow in the draw these days.
yeah, no, it's an if I can get to it kind of thing. Um, yeah.
I still think the one thing that'd be fun is to bring on more guests and do all that fun shit. So
That
we're
would be
just not
fun.
jerking each other off for 3 hours.
Yeah, right. Talking about the same shit about how the government is corrupt.
Fuck all these
Um,
specific insert name and group of people every podcast.
right. Um,
Oh
yeah, no,
man.
I'd love to have more people on. Um, but it's like the only person who I know would do it with us is Adrian, because like no one else at the store's gonna want to do it.
No, the,
Um,
the whole point is to find people that would be like act like like prominent guests or like actual, you know what I mean, like a reason for people to click on it, not just like our dumbass friends.
oh, you mean like, oh, hey, we got not like doesn't need to be this big.
Yeah.
Oh, like Maynard or whatever. Like,
Well, not even that. Just like people like even if it's like someone that does something interesting. I don't want to bring another person on just to fucking just have conversations like these. Like if we find
oh
someone
yeah, yeah.
interesting locally and actually be fun like to have other people listen to it, then that makes sense. But like I'm saying,
Oh
I don't
yeah.
think it makes sense to bring on like another random person.
Yeah, like I did a podcast with my friend Mark. Shout out to you if you're watching this. Um, I did one with him, and that one got significantly more views because he's from New Orleans and like people know him. So I guess people are like, oh, I want to hear what they're going to talk about.
Yeah, precisely. Like
Yeah, like
specific people.
right, like it was him that drew the attention. Obviously, the topics were really interesting, and the stuff I put in the thumbnail and what I said the topics. I mean, at least for me, but I could tell like people were like, oh, yeah, no, I want to hear Will and Mark.
Yes, like especially because I listened to I can't. It's been fucking a long time ago, but like having specific stories and you ask him specific questions about his life, like stuff like that, like finding interesting people to just have a conversation with. I don't want to. What I don't want is just another third person just to fucking have the same conversation that we're having.
Adrian. Oof.
It just doesn't. Well, not even. Well, anybody random, like it just doesn't make sense. Though if he does something really fucking stupid and funny, then yeah, I want to bring him on. You know what I mean? Like I want it to
Oh
be very
yeah,
like specific.
yeah. But that's why I want to have Matt on the podcast because he has a bunch of cool stories.
It's too whipped.
Yeah, I know. He can't. He's still dealing with the aftermath.
I
What
have
happened?
a couple of people in mind that would be kind of fun for it, but it's just the audio thing is another fucking pitfall. So it's like I'd have to
Yeah.
like put them in the same room as me and then like use the same mic setup and just have awkward. So I don't unless they already have a good setup, but regardless, we'll figure it out. But I still think it'd be a fun thing to do because I've
Yeah.
always like interviewing. But yeah, I fucking yeah. I I always think about a bunch of bands that like I haven't listened to in a while, and like that have been some of my favorites. So I was scrolling through my music. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna do these guys because these guys are a major. And I've loved this rabbit hole of just going down and find because YouTube Music does this too, but Google Play always if you have a specific artist that you're searching for, they have a similar artist list, and I would spend hours going through similar artists and
I
finding
need
all
to,
the bands that I liked.
I need to take more advantage of that because I don't do
Yeah.
that enough. Um.
I don't do much anymore because just of time. So I'm trying to get back into it. But I would Dude, I would search for fucking hours. Like and then like I would spend an hour doing it, and then I'm getting frustrated because like I'm finding bands that are kind of close and not what I'm looking for, and then I'll accidentally discover one band, and then I'm just like, oh, here we go, and then I'd spend the next like 2 hours just diving into their whole discography. I would literally take the fucking scroller and just like I would comb through the songs, and then when I'd hear something interesting, I would just let it play. So that's how I picked my favorite songs. I would just go through and
Mm.
just pick all like it was really retarded the way I did it, but it was always fun.
um, that's nice. Yeah, I need to do that more because like I just have that I get comfortable too easily with like the music I listen to, and obviously I do listen to a wide variety of music. I'm so glad and thankful that I have built up this like incredible palette of like so many different genres and things I can like fall back to, and I have this and that for different situations and everything. But at the same time, there's still a lot of music I need to listen to.
It's too much, man. Sometimes it's a big sensory overload, and like
True,
it
true.
overwhelms me. It's just like holy fuck, there's so much shit I'm missing right now. Like I'm like that in a lot of other areas of my life. It's not good.
Oh
So it's like I
yeah,
hate that it
because
comes
like
into music. It's like I'm missing everything.
yeah, because like you don't want to have the fear of missing out. That's deadly.
I feel that so much just with any dude. It's the worst when I'm
Yeah.
like, there's times where like my girlfriend's busy, so like I want to hang out and there's no one to hang out with. So I'm like, fuck it. So I'll just go out in public and just see if I can find anybody interesting to hang out with. And I always like dude, I'm really autistic about this shit. I'll drive by places and like look in the window, and if it looks boring, I won't go in. So I'll like slowly drive and like stake places out. Looks like I'm fucking stalking someone. It's so goddamn funny.
Yeah,
Um,
nice.
but yeah, dude, I feel that fucking hardcore. It's such a it's just a dumb feeling, but it's there. It's
I
real.
know it's so yeah, and like there's still cool stuff you could do. You know, it's not like necessary for salvation. um, but it's like comes a lot, you know, for a lot of people. Um, it's a big cause of depression. Um,
Yeah. It's super
unfortunately.
depressing like when I'm already at a place and the like I feel like the vibe's gonna be cool here. I see a bunch of people like, all right, cool, and then like I get a drink and then it like dies down. So like now I'm stuck here drinking. And like I don't like drinking. I don't and especially don't like drinking by myself. I only do it
Oh
to like
yeah.
loosen me up to go talk to people, just have a fun like night out. Like I don't have any alcohol at my house.
Oh
And like
yeah,
so like I like
definitely.
fuck it, you know what? I'm gonna get a
Definitely.
drink. And then like I'm looking around, everybody's like closing up, so I'm sitting there, I have to drink this fucking thing by myself, and I don't want to get another one because like what's the point of getting drunk by yourself? And you spend more money, so it's like now I have to awkward because I don't even want to drink the shit anymore, but I have to because I
Yeah.
just fucking paid for it. So it's just like it's the most depressing feeling in the world that like you're at the wrong place, spending money and doing the wrong thing. Ugh.
You just amen. You just like, explained it like
Dude, it's fucking
yeah.
bad, dude. I need to go to a therapist about it. It's really fucking. It's like worse than what I'm explaining. Like it
Is it
makes me fuck.
really
Yes, dude, it's fucked.
that bad for you?
Yeah,
Damn.
it's
I mean,
bad.
I didn't. I mean,
I was not always like this too. I was always able to like. My problem is like I've known a lot of really interesting people and I've gotten lucky. So it's like I've ended up going to parties and going traveling with people and like I've always ended up in cool places. I've never like set out to plan shit. It just happens and it's happening less frequently. So now I'm like trying to take the reins and it's not working. So like I'm freaking out.
yep. Likewise.
Oh God.
Yeah, cause like I don't know if you're exactly this way, but I am like I have friends, but they're all in like different groups, so like it's hard and awkward to like plan things because it's like just one on one isn't doesn't always work, right? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it works for us because we're doing a podcast, um, and we definitely just I don't know, it just kind of is
It's a
natural,
controlled environment. Like we plan to do this.
right? Right. We plan to do it, and also like it just kind of I don't know, like sometimes like it just works. Um, but then it's just like I don't know, and then like sometimes like, and I apologize to anyone who's listening to this if I've done this because I've done it a lot, where I just get kind of just bored. I'm like, hey, let me just ask people, and it's like that's not really a good thing to do. I know a lot of people say it's like a numbers game, and like the more you do it, it'll land at some point. I mean, I guess it hasn't really landed for me much. So,
Are you
um,
like referring to this specifically, or just other shit in your life?
kind of everything. Wait, like every thing, like when it comes to like social interaction, or just like literally everything.
Well, I mean, I guess like if I assume you have the feeling of you put a lot of time and effort into doing things that you enjoy, but it doesn't have like really end good results, or it doesn't have enough results, something like that, no matter what you do.
No, I have results. Definitely. Like I literally am living like the best life right now. I'm happier than I've ever been. But I'm obvious. It's just like I mean, it's kind of just the way I explained it to you. Like, just sometimes like I just wish I had more social interaction. Obviously, I have a lot of it, but it's just not in necessarily the way that I would like it to be.
Well, what do you want it to be?
I
Like
guess
what
more.
what's the ideal like social interactions that you want to be a part of?
I don't know, more like group stuff, which is something I'm not really a part of. I mean, I go to youth group, but that for me, like the youth group is just in a completely different like tier of social interaction because
Yeah.
it's like I'm speaking a different language over there. Like it's a different culture.
Yeah. It doesn't feel
um,
quite at home. Yeah.
right. You know
You
exactly what I mean. And I have like my house and my family life, which is great.
so
Um,
you just need more friends to go do stuff in public with, is what you're saying.
yeah, that's true. That's
Well,
it.
I will say the one thing that kind of mitigates that is like when you date somebody, because most of the time when you date somebody, like you end up doing stuff with their friends, like or you go out, like I said, when I went to Disney, I went with my girlfriend and my friend and his wife, so it's like doing that shit. But also like going to shows, like if you want like actual social interaction and meeting friends and talking to people and not even just networking, but just having a good time out. There's always shows, so it's like I'm going to one this Friday. If you want to come with, it's $10. It's probably shitty bands, but it's fun to like get your energy out and mosh live or talk to people. So
Or
I'm always going to
show.
shit like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know what you meant by that. Um,
yeah, like concerts or whatever. Because like it doesn't always have to be like larger bands. There's always local stuff, and I'm trying to be more active in the local music scene. The problem is it sucks balls here, and I know everyone always says that about their hometown, but like it really is fucking meant to die. But I've never been a scene person. Like I hate those people that like they're always just involved. Like I don't know how the fuck like I don't know how somebody works full time and just is always involved in the scene. Just like, what the fuck? Is that what they do all day? Like, what the fuck? So
yeah,
I'm
the
trying to do more
only
of it.
okay. Thanks for the invitation. That was nice. The only scene, like you were in that sense that you're saying that I like to be a part of is like the religious scene. I like the different churches that are here in the diocese, like the diocese.
Yeah.
I like doing youth group. I like I like doing the Bible studies and everything. And like just keeping up with people weekly. It's a very nice thing. I mean, I know a lot of people do that differently, but that's just kind of how I like to do it.
Why don't you
Um,
go more mission trips? Those are really good social interactions. Those are almost like bonding experiences.
I hate to sound like a corporate American jackass, but I'm working.
No, obviously, you fucking take a time to go for a weekend or a week in the summer. Like you don't just fucking go do it all the time. You just you
I
you
know.
plan it, bro. Fucking,
Um,
you're
I've
fucking 20. Like Jesus,
I
you're not in a corporate job. You
I
can
know.
fucking plan.
I go on the retreats. Like
Yeah.
we've gone to like Winchester. We've done it in like West Virginia, and it's like overnight. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Go on hikes.
I'm talking
Um,
like for a couple days or for like a week, like actually like get invested to it, not just drive up for, a day or two and then come back.
yeah, sure. I guess I haven't really thought about. I mean, I know they do it at All Saints. I need to look at the schedule. I guess I never really thought about it.
Yeah, I mean there's a bunch of things that I mean again, the same thing with me is like it's like, there's all these things to do, but what's the right one? Like what's the one that's actually going to be memorable or,
Yeah,
um
that's I mean, it's like the fact that we have so many choices now in this day and age. Like it's just it's how much do you think is like too much?
I
Like
think it's already too much now, and like, I don't give a fuck that there's too many choices. I just my problem is that like there's not enough good choices. Like there's a
Mm.
lot of choices that'll lead you down wrong paths, and they're very easy to fall into. So it's like, by wanting, math equation, by wanting to do more social interactions, it could lead to more problems in the future. Like the more you're to yourself, the better off you might be, just in terms of finances, legality, mental health, whatever the fuck, less drama. But finding
Yeah, I
the
mean,
right group of people to be around is very difficult. So in that sense, yeah.
okay. Um, what about like choices when it comes to like entertainment or like how or like there's so many like you can find a restaurant of like anything you can think of.
Right.
You could find literally a church of anything you could think of.
I think that
Um,
stuff's cool. I like the fact that I
okay.
like it's like searching for music. Like there's a shit ton. Like I like the fact that like in my head there's infinite bands that I would probably enjoy, and they're out there to be discovered. So it's like a treasure hunt.
Ah, yeah, that is one area where I think it is good, and I think that is probably the best thing the internet has done.
Yeah.
Whereas like like I think I've talked about this before. How like I can be a fan of South American music. I can listen to some music in Mexico. And I don't have to actually go there, and it's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Obviously the internet's done detrimental stuff to music in the industry, but I'm not even
sure.
talking about the industry because like when people say that, it's about like the music that your kids consume, how it's difficult to make money and how there's so many traps to fall into. I'm just saying the fact that I'm able to discover music from around the globe very easily is very, very cool, and I think people take that for granted because of all the pitfalls that surrounds it. But like all it is corporate shit. Like if it that's the main criticism is like they're ruining the fucking shit with streaming, they're ruining it with copyright, all that bullshit. So
That
it's not
that
even.
that is true, but I think at the end of the day, like just the fact that we have access to like almost everything, it's cool, and like
Yeah,
even
I agree.
and not just like worldwide, but we can listen to music from anywhere in our own country, because like it wasn't too long ago where like if you lived in some like rural country area, like you probably never heard some stuff outside of country music. Um
You actually had to go and find traveling people like
yeah,
who's
like
coming
it
into your city.
right, or like if you wanted to listen to jazz, you probably had to go to New Orleans, or if you wanted to listen to rock, you probably had to go to LA or something, and stuff like that. I think that's very cool. I mean, I know that adds to the whole globalization and all that nonsense, but it's still really cool, and you can just also, I can put on like Zydeco, and it makes me think of Louisiana. It's just
Yeah, I
it's
mean
it's
because
it's it's good.
everybody always makes their argument about how like music sucks now, but it's just like, yeah, popular music you just gotta find it. It's like especially with Latitudes, like I would never have found that band had I not looked for them. Like they're not in any major shit, so it's like I would just never heard of them if I just said music sucks and I'm not gonna find more of it.
Yeah,
It's
or
just such an ignorant standpoint.
yeah, like my dad showed me this jazz album from like not too long ago from Kamasi Washington. Have you ever heard of that guy?
I know I haven't.
It was like from 2015, 16. It was fantastic. And the album was like 3 hours long. It had these really cool, slight, like, I think they were kind of like Brazilian kind of samba vibes going on. And it was also like just American jazz. And he was just going hard on the trumpet or whatever he was playing. It was fantastic. Um, yeah, like you said, it just depends on where you're looking, because like if you look in the right places, you find some gold,
Yeah.
man.
I don't know. Like people are always weird about music. Like it's such a fundamental, psychological need that we as humans need, and like even the people that get no, they have no like need or want or desire to do anything music related. They just don't like music. It's such to me it's just such a fundamental part of life, and I think we think about music in a very dumb way. Obviously, if you think about most people think about music commercially, and like, and it's always shitty. I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, but like I meet a lot of people that their whole entire and people do this with any sort of content creation because they think that they have a talent or that they deserve a major like they think that they deserve success, and they think that as like I can just keep plugging and doing hard work and I'll get there eventually. It's like maybe you will, maybe you won't. And I hate the fact that everybody that's what they strive for. So it's like they're not honest about what they're doing in their music, and it shows, even if they're really talented. So it's like I hate using that as a cop out way to just describe why I don't like a lot of new music and I have to search it for hours. But it really is true. Like the bands that don't make any money are usually very fucking good bands.
Yeah.
So it's just I hate when people just use it as an outlet. Because like for me, like I just do it as a hobby. Like any music I make is gonna be because I enjoy it or I want to fucking make it or it's something that resonates with me and I want to like save it. I'm not trying to make money off of it. It's like that's what my angle is off of music is like for the sound, as simple as it should be.
Yeah, because you're like, if I do make money off of it, cool.
Yeah,
But
then it's even better. But like that's not my first thought because it's like it's not even monetized. Like I have no like there's no I don't even have a way to set up for people to pay me if they wanted to unless they just decided to Venmo me. I don't know. But like I
I
don't even
mean,
ask for it. I don't even ask people to donate. It's just like if you want to listen to it, cool. I don't. There's no options to do it. I don't fucking network. I don't do anything. I just do it.
I guess like I'm sure a lot of like top famous musicians had the same outlook as you. I just think a lot of them they just get over. I mean, I'm sure like just getting paid that much money is just it's so tempting. Like
It fucks with your
I'm
brain.
not right. Like I'm not surprised that a lot of people sell out and go down on the artistic integrity just because they know they'll make more money. I
Yeah.
understand. Like I'm not. Like I know like people. Oh, I really need to think about the art. And I'm like, why do they? Like they get just it's like they want to make money. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like the music as much. Not
You
because
know
like
what? Sorry, Miko, go ahead.
I mean, not necessarily because like I know it's not coming from a good place, but it's just music that makes a ton of money. I just tend to not like those styles of music,
Yeah.
you know.
Because even
That
like in the genre, like you can tell, especially with pop, because there's great pop songs, you can tell the ones that are just strictly manufactured to make money, and it's just fucking, it's just not good. But
yeah
I've thought about this a lot. I've thought about like, because like obviously like I have this mindset now, but like let's say if I do that, or if I like end up joining a band that starts making a shit ton of money, and like we all have the same mindset of like artistic integrity. I feel like what I would do, so it's like if I, had a couple really good albums and then the sales are starting to drop or like it was time for me to transition into making songs to be more commercially available. I feel like if I would use like my name to join another project that would be popular and I could still make the music that I want to make with that other project and I wouldn't give a shit that the sales and all that shit's declining because I can just focus on that, but then I can support myself or have that sense of fame in another project.
yeah yeah.
So I feel like
I
that's what I would do personally.
yeah um and like, but just like it gets to a point to me where like especially like someone towards the end of their career where there's like a desperation. I'm just like, haven't you made enough money? Like you could literally take that and you could do anything you want. Like why do you need to make that 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 next album? Why do you need to like Tom Brady? Like why are you still playing? Like you have nothing to prove to us. You sold us like you're the greatest of all time. Like is it
You
really
got
worth
like
what?
I think it's the straw on the camel's back that got him divorced too. Like she couldn't
That's what
fucking.
I was saying. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like it's like is it really worth getting divorced, possibly risking, dying? Because
Yeah,
like if you're that old and you're playing football, that's not like the risk of you getting injured is just gets higher and higher. Like I just I'm like I don't know. I'm sure it's enticing, like money, like we
yeah,
said, but because we've never been in that position, so how would we really know? But I don't know. Just like me, if I like and like these, like I used to kind of think that way with like these sports contracts, where it's like this person's paying you 100 million as opposed to this one's paying you like 150 million. It's like $100 million is still a shit ton of money, you know. But
dude, it's fucking unreal.
I know that's kind of that's how I would view because I'm like, oh, I would already have the money for the club, baby. I can make like 5 clubs.
I mean,
But
some people do refocus their money to do more meaningful things, but I mean, it's a common theme to just say, it's never enough, or people just feel like it's never enough. Like, why? Like, why is that instinctual to feel that? And honestly, I think
yeah, I know
most people are
we
just broken inside, so like that depression just never goes away, no matter how rich and famous they get. So I
Yeah.
guess that's part of it, but I don't know. Like, I look at people and it's just like, why would you do that? Why would you ruin and risk all this shit just to fill some, hollow fantasy that's not even gonna make you feel good? Like, I look at it and it's just
I
like,
mean,
obviously the art suffers and your mental deteriorates. So I don't know.
I
It's just
mean,
all the way dumb.
I guess like that's just like asking why we do anything
Yeah.
that's like bad or depraved. It's like, like that's just kind of how we naturally are as humans, because we're
Yeah.
fallen, right?
No, I
Um,
feel that too, but like I said, I understand and can identify that it's a problem, and like so far, it hasn't thrown my life off balance. Like I'm still on track, and I'm still growing in what I'm trying to do. Obviously, I have setbacks, and I feel that depression or that incomplete feeling, but I understand that it's like it's irrational to a degree because like in my life, there's really nothing so far that is a red flag that I need to be like, well, I need to change my situation right now. It's like it's been exponential growth. It's like I'm obviously on the right track of doing something. So I feel like it's slow, but I'm not going to do anything to derail that just because I need an instant satisfaction.
I see. Yeah. Like I
And I
said,
might be never successful on that level, and that's all right. Like I don't feel like I'm ever. I mean, I don't feel like I'm ever going to be content, but I don't feel like it's going to ruin my whole entire state of being.
yeah. But it still is interesting though, and especially like when you hear like sports players and other athletes and even like other musicians or whatever or artists that win awards and stuff like that. It's like once they get it, it's like, oh, great, I'm the same person now,
Yeah.
and it's like it's just a testament, how like that's not really what you're gonna be thinking about when you're on your deathbed. I mean, obviously, like your career is important and stuff like that, but what you're really gonna be thinking about, is the people and the things that matter to you, right? Like your family and your friends. Like
Yeah.
that's
And
really what you're gonna be thinking about.
I've seen some actors, and some of them have they kind of fade into obscurity because they've had one massive successful blockbuster hit of a movie, and they can do one of two things. They can let that die down until they pick another really good role that they want to do, like quantity over quality or quality over quantity type of thing, and then or they'll star in every shitty movie for the next year until they also get faded into obscurity. So it's like there's a lot of actors that they do very few movies and they pick specific roles that they think they'd be perfect for, and they just every single one of them is good versus just this one's really good, this one's shitty, this one's kind of good, this one's really good, this one's shitty. Cycle repeats. So it just
Yeah, like
depends on what they value, I guess.
it also depends on like how big the movie is. Like Daniel Radcliffe, I cannot see that guy without thinking of Harry Potter. Like he is
Yeah.
Harry Potter, like and it's like it hasn't really done him very good, right? Because what's the last good movie you saw him in? Like right, like it doesn't exist.
There's one that I kind of wanted to see that I thought would be interesting is where he plays a neo-Nazi, like an undercover cop. I
Huh.
really wanted to see that. I never saw it, but it might be good. Like I never thought he was like that great of an actor, like even in Harry Potter. Like
I like him in Harry
I didn't
Potter.
like his character, honestly. Like I didn't think he was the most
Really?
interesting character of Harry Potter. Yeah, he's not that really charismatic, and that's why I didn't really like him as a main character. Like it
Really?
wasn't a
I think he
I didn't
is.
think so.
I like his
I don't like the goofy, awkward main character trope. I've never found it interesting.
yeah, but I I I don't really think it fully goes there because he's not nerdy, but then he's not like like he a lot of it like and he talks about like when he just like like where he's like why me, like why am I so special, like why am I the chosen one, because he's like I'm just some dude, right? I think it's a really nice um
That's my point.
thing,
Like,
yeah.
I don't like how he's just some dude that's playing a main character, and I just think that the way he delivers his shit is
um
really corny to me. I think that's the biggest problem. Like, I
yeah
like Harry Potter and I like the fucking way that's set up, but like, I just don't think he's a phenomenal actor, a really good main character for the story.
no, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't think he's a phenomenal actor by any stretch of the imagination. But I just think what he did in Harry Potter was good, and I just like where you said he wasn't charismatic. I think he is. Like, I just think he's just nice to watch, and like I like the way that he shows a broad range of emotions, and he should just like because the whole point of Harry Potter, right, is like well he's an average dude, but then he's also like he's also just like he's a good person, right? Because like it's not because of like how he was so awesome with his physical abilities, but how like he was motivated by the love for his friends and family, right? And I just think Daniel Radcliffe really brings that out, and he just felt like a real person, which I really liked.
No, I feel like the character was written well. I just don't think that like it. I don't know. Like there's something like obviously like I don't think there'd be anybody better than him to play that role. So I guess I'll take that back. I guess I don't like how he's written. I feel like
Hmm.
he's the
Yeah,
perfect person to play that character, but I don't think I like the actual character of Harry Potter. I feel like
that's
there's a
that's
bunch of
fair.
other characters that are more entertaining and more like useful in Harry Potter than him. Especially the villains. Like the villains were pretty interesting. So it's like I want the villains to win because Harry Potter bores the fuck out of me. It's just like just kill this kid so there's a new champion. Like God.
Yeah, I love Sirius Black. I think he is
Yeah.
fantastic. Also, because my uncle is literally him. um, but um, yeah, no, the villains are very good, like you said. I mean, also like Voldemort's just kind of obviously he does have like his backstory, which is pretty cool. But at the end of the day, he still is just kind of like a I'm a bad guy.
Yeah.
But I really liked like um Lucius Malfoy and like all the Death Eaters. I really thought that was cool. How it was kind of like the KKK.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
The
Yeah,
one
no.
person I can't stand, and this is just she plays the same bitch in every fucking movie thing that she's in. I can't stand Helena Bonham Carter. I just can't. She's
Um,
so fucking cringy to me. I can't take her.
I like her in the King's Speech.
I
But how,
guess every like fantasy thing that she's in, I just can't fucking stand. I don't know
I
what it is. Like she just does the dumbass face and then something like snarky. It's I can't
oh,
take her. Oh, I fucking hate her characters. There's the same bitch in every fucking thing she plays in. I think that's my problem.
yeah, I guess
It's
I
like
haven't
Will Smith.
really.
He's the same person in every movie.
But like Will Smith he's just such a likable guy though.
I don't know.
um,
The more I listened, and this is because I guess more of his personal life has been forcibly raped on pun to me. So
yeah.
I
Well,
just I lose more respect for him as the years go by, and it just the shit he says is just fucking goddamn retarded.
no,
And I look
I
back on his characters, and it's like it's
yeah.
why I don't like it is because you can tell like he thinks he's that guy, and he's not that guy at all in real life, and he thinks that he is, and that's what really irritates me about him because like he's not a bad actor, and I think he's charismatic and he's funny, but like
And
he
he's
thinks that
good
he's
too.
like
Like
that
he's
level like he is in the movies. Like no, you're not.
right, right. Like no, he's a good actor. He's given some really, really good performances.
Yeah,
Because like he's not just like that funny, charismatic, cool dude. Like
yeah,
he's done a lot of stuff. Like in like really like Pursuit of Happiness or whatever that movie is.
yeah.
That he's
Honestly, his best one was fucking. Yeah, there was a Pursuit of Happiness where he's trying to be a stockbroker. That one.
yeah. I think I saw
Yeah,
that movie like a long time ago. But I just remember like it was kind of nice.
yeah. I like that movie. It's a depressing movie, and I think I think I only mainly like it because it's just a different like character that he plays than normal. But I
Yeah.
think my favorite like Will Smith iteration is Men in Black. I love those fucking movies so much.
I saw the first one. I didn't like it at all.
Really? I mean, they're cheesy, but I enjoy them
I
because I
was
watched them when I was really young, so I think that's probably why.
Yeah, but the cheese, like it wasn't the good cheese. It was like it was the
A
moldy
lot of it is kind of
cheese.
stupid. Yeah, a lot of it is pretty. But again, like you got to think of the time frame these came out into, like the
I
late '90s, early
know,
2000s.
I know, but that doesn't always like because I can be down with like this is the time, this is what was going on. But even so, I just think like even in the time, this was like just I
But
don't
it's
know.
not. I'm not passing that judgment to serious movies. I'm passing it to like comedies because comedies during that time were just fucking ridiculous, especially with
Yeah,
like the
but
new CGI and shit.
well, yeah, but that's the thing. I don't really like any comedies in like the '90s.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That falls into that pitfall of the time that it was made.
Yeah, but I just don't really think that that's an excuse. I'm not saying you're using that as an excuse, but like just the way I don't know, like cheese is a very fine line, but I just think Men in Black it just like it tipped it and I was like I don't care about what's going on. I don't even like know like who what is this like ant thing? What this looks so stupid. I don't know. And like the more a movie isn't entertaining you, and the more it's boring, more shit just like starts to stand out to you.
Yeah, because you're trying to focus on it. Yeah,
Right, and you can't because like a lot of times like when you're so entertained by something, you miss out on like flaws it might have had. Right, I'm guilty of that, but um when a movie it's like the opposite when a movie's not entertaining you, you just see all of the bad stuff more. And that was
yeah.
kind of me with Men in Black because I didn't care about the characters. I was like this is stupid.
I'm trying to think of more shit that because I've seen so many Will Smith movies and I'm blanking on the ones that I've liked, but like there's a couple other serious ones that I've enjoyed that he's been in. There's one that
Um
was kind of boring was Gemini Man where he's like
um
fighting a younger clone of himself. I enjoyed it, but it was not like
I wanted to
it's just an
see
action movie.
that. I like the director because that director did Life of Pi, which is a fantastic movie. He also did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Which have you seen that movie?
Really?
Yeah,
A long time
that
ago.
movie is badass. That is such a good movie, dude. I
That
am
was a
like
fucking old movie.
that's another thing I'm a sucker for. I'm a sucker for martial arts movies. Martial arts movies are like the coolest thing.
Do you like the Karate Kid and all that shit? I never
I
really.
that's more of like an American hero's journey kind of thing.
Yeah,
But it's kind of like that. But it's just anything like set in East Asia where it's just a bunch of like kung fu or karate fighting. I'm down. That shit is
yeah.
so cool. Like
You want to
Bruce
know what my
or
favorite martial arts movie is?
what?
It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. It takes place in Japan, like feudal Japan. It was so fucking good,
That sounds awesome. I need to watch that.
dude. I love fucking Ninja Turtles, dude.
I never watched it when I was. Oh, I played like the GameCube game with my friend growing
Yeah,
up. I thought that was pretty cool. Um,
yeah. It's cheesy, but you know it's fucking good. But yeah, martial arts movies are hit and miss. I think that's the only because the Crouching Tiger. That's Bruce Lee, right?
no,
Or
that's
no, am I thinking? What am I thinking? Hidden Dragon. Is that? There's so many dragons. Like pick another
no,
animal.
yeah, exactly. What is it? No, Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon, which is that's a
Enter the Dragon.
good
Okay.
movie. I love Enter the
So I guess
Dragon.
I haven't seen Crouching Tiger. I've seen Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, no, but Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is like all of the cool stuff from the Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan movies, but it's
Yeah,
actually like well shot and it's like an actual movie.
yeah,
If that makes sense.
yeah,
Because like the the Jackie Chan movies and the Bruce Lee movies obviously have like terrible stories, but they're just so fun, and like you're just more entertained by like the actual choreography and stuff. It's so energetic. You're into it, and it's so like and it's not cartoonish. Like it feels so like even if they do like the craziest thing, like they make it look so real, right? That's what they're really good at. But like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is all of that. Plus, it's well shot. It looks beautiful. It has characters who you actually care about. It's awesome. It is that is like a prime example of like that's how you do a fucking movie, man.
yeah. Yeah,
You
I'll
know,
have to
like
watch it because
I might have to recommend that for the podcast.
that'd be fun. Jackie Chan has done like a couple of movies like back in China in the 80s and they were really fucking funny. Like obviously he always does his own stunts, but
Yeah,
there was one movie in particular and I cannot find it. It's cuz it's such a generic storyline where he's like he got involved with some fucking like mob bosses and he's trying to fight his way to escape and he's like I just have an image of him running down a mine shaft or just some fucking scene where he's like where like he's trying to run away and fight at the same
yeah.
time like that kind of
The
shit. So it's like that was a great movie, but I can't remember what it's called.
the one I've seen is called The Legend of Drunken Master, where he's just like drunk the whole movie, and it gets him like and his family forsakes him and stuff like that. It's but then he has to like fight his way back for like the I don't remember, but it was so fun.
That's one of my favorite tropes in martial arts, especially with the games, is the drunken fighter.
Right, but like also like yeah, the drunken fighter, but also like what is it with like martial arts movies and like Eastern culture and stuff with like the honor and everything?
I don't
like
know.
like
It's
you forsake the family. But
discipline.
right, you know what I'm talking about? Like every movie like that has that. Or oh, have you seen The Last Samurai?
Yes, I.
That is a
Everybody shits on
good
that movie because they
movie.
think it's like white
No,
savior.
it's not. That I mean, it's a that's such a good movie, man.
I do enjoy it.
It
It's
is
not,
too
what is it?
long, but
Who's it? Is it Tom Cruise or Keanu Reeves? I always forget
yeah,
who's
it's
plays.
it's Tom Cruise.
It's Tom Cruise, which is crazy because I don't like Tom Cruise as an actor or as a person, but like I do like that movie.
Yeah. I
Who they need to make a movie about is there's like a guy from Africa that became a shogunite or shogun or a samurai, one of the two, and he's like one of the last ones or some shit. And saying how he like earned a great deal of respect and he was a fucking insane fighter. Like that's a movie I'd see or an anime.
yeah. Dude,
But yeah, The Last Samurai.
you know what I would so watch? Like I would love to see something that like takes place in Mexico or Latin America, but it's like animated and like in that kind of quasi anime like Avatar style.
Yeah,
That would be amazing.
like a southwestern film.
Yeah, I think I saw something like that on Netflix, but then it was like kind of fantasy, and I'm like, no, no.
Yeah, that'd be
I'm
great to make.
right, 'cause like I'm like if it's in Mexico, I want to see like cartel, like like Spanish like Catholicism stuff. I don't
Saw his head off with a goofy instrument.
know. Yeah. Or
um,
have you seen Invincible?
no.
Dude, watch that. The first season of that is great.
Yeah, Invincibles. I wait. No, I haven't. Yeah, I need to watch it, but
That's good. It's worth
um,
it. Definitely.
another cult classic kind of like comedy martial arts film. Has you ever seen Kung Fu Hustle?
No.
That movie is fucking great. That might be the
Okay.
next one. I if I can recommend a movie, we should watch that. That or a
Okay.
Kill Bill,
Oh yeah,
because Kill Bill's a classic.
Kill Bill. I've never got around to seeing.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like one of Tarantino's most ridiculous films, but it's fucking great. It's really gory, but it's
Oh, I
so
mean,
fucking dramatic. It's hilarious how dramatic this fucking movie is. Like, I guarantee you, we'd laugh our ass off watching it. I haven't seen it in so long, so I'm sure there's parts where it's like, oh
mhm.
my god, this is so dumb.
Ooh, what I'd really love to see the whole way through, because I've only seen bits and pieces of it, is Django.
I like Django a lot.
Yeah, because the parts I've seen from it, I thought were freaking hilarious.
Yeah, Django is a funny fucking movie. Um,
Have you seen Reservoir Dogs?
I have, yeah, a long time ago.
That's like probably my favorite Tarantino.
Yeah, that one, like, I'm not super into like those kind of movies, but I did enjoy that one.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I love those like California, like South LA kind of vibes, but it's like
Yeah,
you know how, but like, but then there's like the cringe LA vibes where it's like in the club with like like you know like the bodyguards and it's like the nightclub. Like I hate that LA. If them,
yeah,
it's a very weird specific thing I'm talking about. Like the Vin Diesel kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah. No, trust me, I
That's
know.
yeah, no, you know what I'm talking about. That stuff is
Family.
so yeah, that stuff is bad. And like I know it's not just Fast and Furious. Like he's into other movies, but like they have that same thing where it's like the kingpin and stuff like that, and the nightclub, and then just
Oh
trying to.
God,
I'm
yeah,
like, dude, stop, please. Like when Batman did that, like the new one, I was like, okay, like this is just like.
yeah. That or any Jason Statham movie, like I don't even fucking want to go near it.
I've never even seen any of the Fast and Furious movies, but like I know, I know what I'm getting into when I'm
They're
watching it. So
bad. Like I don't get why people like them. They're so fucking bad. Like
right,
it,
like
like
I've
they're
heard they're not even like fun bad.
no, they're. I mean, I don't want to use over the top as an example because there's a lot of movies that are over the top, but like there's just ones just like this just fucking like it's just asinine. Like you just watching like this is like every like middle schooler dude with an Edgar haircut. Like that's who wrote this movie is like a middle schooler wrote this fucking movie. Like it's just
Yeah.
God, I hate it.
I remember I think it was like I Hate Everything said he was like having one scene where all the characters are sitting in the backyard grilling is not character development.
Yeah, like that's supposed to be like the fucking arc of the story. Like that's how you get all their insight from some dude sitting around drinking beer on their fucking back glass table and in the patio. Like, God.
Yeah, they
Like this
grill.
is what men do. Like fuck off.
Yes. Yeah, they grilled burgers, and now you're supposed to care about these people.
Dude, it's really funny to like the most manly scene is also the most gayest scene.
Yeah, like in Top
Which
Gun.
in theory works out because there's a lot of gay scenes that are super manly if you think about it.
Yeah, no, but it's so funny how much of that stuff where it's like so unintentionally gay,
Yeah.
like in Top Gun, like I said, you know, where it had.
That's different though, because like that, like being gay in Top Gun, that's like the charm of the movie.
No, but you can. I don't think that's what they were going for. Like,
I mean, it was the '80s. Everything was like inherently gay in the '80s. So if that's not
true.
what they're going for, that's just the effect that it had. But like it like really like went for that trope,
Yeah,
regardless
I
if it
guess
was
so.
intentional or not.
Yeah. Um. Fuck, man. Oh, I have my recommendation for the next
Oh,
podcast, and it's unorthodox,
oh,
but I was just like, fuck it, I want to watch this because I haven't watched it in a while. It's so good. It's
what is
the
it?
it's the only thing in this universe that keeps that like I'm still attached to, and I'm like, there's something about this. Like it just I'm gonna be watching this for a long time. It never ceases to wow me at how good it is, how artistic it is, how sophisticated it is in like doing what it does. It's the Star Wars Clone Wars 2003 hand-drawn animated series.
Are we gonna watch the whole series or just a couple episodes?
No, this the series is 2 hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's a mini series.
Yeah, it's a mini series.
Okay,
Sorry.
I was just like, we're gonna watch a whole fucking season of a show. What the fuck are we gonna?
No, I don't. We might do that for other dates, but not now. No. So yeah, it's like 2 hours long. It's in two seasons, and season one is like an hour, and season two is another hour. But like, okay, I don't want to spoil anything. Never mind. I can't say it. But it's just every time I watch it, I'm just like, how is this so good? This thing that was literally just made to sell toys. It, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll watch anything. I don't give a fuck.
Right. You want to
But
come on Thursday?
I'll have to see. But yeah,
Okay.
I think it's interesting because I've heard from so many people it's really fucking good, and I just haven't had the ambition to check it out. I don't know why,
Mhm.
but forcing me to do it, I'll probably enjoy it. So that's the one
Yeah.
thing I like about stuff is like just there's a especially with TV and movies when I'm by myself, there's a lot of shit I have to be specifically in the mood for. Like I don't want to watch something by myself that I have to put a lot of attention into. That
Yeah.
sounds really dumb, but like I have to be with somebody to like enjoy a movie. Like I never sit and watch a movie by myself. I'll always just like I'll watch a show. Like I'll watch 4 hours of a fucking show, but I'm not gonna watch one movie.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
I
really
I
dumb.
I got you. Yeah. Well,
Because like I'm more committed to a movie. It's really stupid, but um, but yeah, fucking going all the way back. What do you rate Latitudes?
Ooh, I'd give Latitudes at least a solid 7. Pro-
Interesting.
yeah, probably. No, but like a lot of people when they hear that, it's like, oh, because I'm like, guys, like something doesn't have to have like an 8 out of 10 for it to be good.
Yeah.
Like seven's very good score.
What did you think it was lacking?
Um, I don't know, just I gotta give it time, you know? Because
Oh, I
sometimes,
didn't
like,
know if you had any specific things.
uh, I guess maybe like memorability.
Yeah, a lot of them are designed to drone. Like, there's very like even still because I've listened to them for a while. There's like I'm always like, what fucking song was that part in?
Yeah.
Because I
Um,
really love that part.
well, I have this kind of complaint, so to speak, with this and like some other things where it's like, why don't you rate it higher? And it's like, well, I guess like it just didn't like it resonated with me, but I guess not quite that much.
No, I'm not expecting a fucking.
I'm
I'm
not
just
saying you're
curious if
saying,
there were like
yeah, no,
specific. Oh,
I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just saying like if someone asked me that, I'd be like, I guess it just. like the way I said.
Well, that's why I think like rating systems are always dumb. I think it makes more sense just to talk about the shit that you like and the shit that you don't like, or if you like this more than the other. Like it's really dumb to quantify stuff like that. Like our
Yeah.
need to put numbers to every single aspect of life is just not necessary. We don't need statistics for every fucking detail.
Yeah, like
God,
but like what just annoys me is like, when like music or movie reviewers do that and then people like they that's all what they want to hear is like what's the score? What's the score? It's like don't you want to hear about like what they actually have to say about the review and like
yeah.
the music? Or it's like why does the number and then it's like also it's like just because this person gives something a bad score, like, or a score that's not a 10, like, I don't understand why that inhibits your ability to enjoy it. I guess maybe it might make you think of it in a different way, but
To me, I think like especially for music reviews, like I like reading reviews of people and they actually give like the specific adjectives and the reasons why they like something or why they didn't like something. But for example, like a guy that I used to watch, and I just don't watch anymore because I feel like he says the same criticisms for every song. So it's just like I already know what his personal taste of music is, and I don't care about what he has to say about any other band particularly because I feel like I've already seen all his like Anthony Fantano, the Needle Drop. So
oh
it's like
yeah, I
there's
mean,
nothing interesting I think he can say about a song that I wouldn't already guess is what he's gonna like or dislike. So at
do
some point
you
you reach a threshold.
do you think that's kind of me? Because like
No,
I
because
think my
you don't
mm,
box and compartmentalize all that shit specifically. Like he says the same types of shit about a lot of different songs, and like even if he's
mm,
talking about the stuff that he likes, he never goes in detail. He's always going in detail why about something he didn't like, and it's just like at some
um
point it's just like what's the point of even doing this?
um I kind of had this complaint about him, and a lot of people agreed how like he says a lot of these like broad things, but he never
Yeah.
actually like gets in depth with them. He'd be like, oh, like there's the lyrical genius, lyrical like I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's my big problem. He's very surface level when it comes to actually talking about the shit in the song. So I like especially like oh what I'll do is I'll pick an album and listen to it and then I'll listen to what he has to say and I'm like there's so much more stuff he could have gone into depth. And then like I won't listen to an album, then I'll play his video and I'll have like no fucking idea what he's talking about in any context of the song.
Also, like it's not just because he's like a political goofball, and I think his takes are awful, but like there's just some people where just like you just don't really like him. Like they just I don't know, like just
Yeah. He's not a likable character and there's another
he's
guy. I don't know
not.
if you
No.
ever
Um.
I don't think you've ever. I don't know if you know who this guy is, but like I can't stand this guy because he's like the stereotypical like you know almost 40-year-old punk guy that gatekeeps the hardcore scene, and like he's always like his name is Finn McKenty. He always just has like really
Oh.
awful fucking takes on a lot of fucking music, and his cop out is because I've been through the eras of music and this is how it's supposed to be. It's just like Jesus Christ.
No, I haven't heard of that guy.
Like and punk is objectively a shitty genre. So like if you tell me punk's your favorite genre, you don't have the capability to criticize any other music.
Is that so that's like the genre for you where it's like, oh, that's my favorite genre where you're like,
Yeah,
yep,
any
I know everything there is to know about you.
yeah, like for anybody listening, if punk is your favorite genre, you have no right to criticize any other music genre. It's the charm of punk is that it's shitty. Like I get it. That's fine if you enjoy it. Awesome. But like objectively it sounds fucking bad. So you can't criticize other bands for sounding bad when your genre is the antithesis of it.
Nice. It's like religion.
Yeah, it's dude, it's gate it is. It's like arguing with religious people like specifically about music. It's just like Jesus
But
Christ.
it's
And
but
and
it's
now it is
funny
political.
though. No, right? But it's funny how this is just a substitute for religion because like it's unavoidable. Like everyone is. Like it
Yeah.
just further confirms my take on that.
If I have to hear how many times a punk person says something is fascist, I'm gonna fucking punch him in the face. Like
Oh
it's
yeah,
so
because
annoying how politically inept all these people are.
dude, no one who the fuck even knows what fascism even is anymore. I
It's
don't.
not even
I don't even
they just
know.
shoot they just shoot like they say it about everything like like something can be
Oh,
fucking
like the
awful, and fascism does not fit the definition of that thing. But like it's a blanket term used for every shitty thing they don't like is fascism. It's
oh
just
yeah,
like,
or like
God.
it's racist. It's like racist doesn't even mean anything anymore.
Yeah, it's like, is there another political term besides fascism that's authoritative that you'd like to use?
Okay, let me look up fascism. In Spanish. Shit. Um,
God.
Fascism is a far right, authoritarian, ultra nationalist political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy, subordination of individual interests for the perceived good of the nation and race, and strong regimentation of society and the economy.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's one word to describe all those fucking things. Like,
Right,
it's
but like,
stupid.
I mean, that was a very that I didn't really think. I just because like when I think fascism, I just think censorship. But now that when I actually read the definition off Wikipedia, I'm like, oh wow, that's more than I thought it was.
It's honestly the biggest tidbit is the far right thing. So it's like you can have a to dictatorship or authoritative government, or like you're saying, a kleptocratic state. Like there's you can spout any buzzword you want. It's just the fact that it's right wing. And sometimes the things that people bitch about aren't actually right wing. It's just like they don't have the capability to understand anything besides fascism. Like that's the only word they know how to fucking use, and then they'll put other words in front of it like economic or social or fucking military. Like it's just God,
I don't
fucking.
I don't understand. I mean, I understand it's like far right in the sense that it's like fascism is like it's like the opposite of like Marxism or whatever, but it's like still like the left is very fascist. Like
That's what I'm saying. Like, if
you
you're
know,
going based off of adjectives, they're doing the same bullshit. They just think they're on the
right?
politically right side of the spectrum or
Yeah,
politically correct side of the spectrum. So I
or
don't even give a fuck. Like, people can argue about politics all day. We're still gonna fucking be raped by the government. I don't give a fuck. Fascism, communism, they can both eat one. I don't care. But I just hate
I
that everybody uses the same fucking words for everything. Like, it makes me so mad. It's just
no,
like,
yeah.
do you have the fucking credibility to say something's fascist? Like, do you have the degree? Do you have the fucking like any sort of reliability or credibility to say anything smart like that in that realm? It's like, no, you make shitty fucking music and you just complain about every single aspect of life while living a semi-comfortable life clouded by your shitty choices. Like, that's the one thing that holds them back is buying shitty tattoos done by their friends or alcohol and cigarettes. Like, God, they're fucking. I hate punk kids. I hate them more than hardcore metal kids. Like, they're the fucking worst to be around.
Oh wow, so we agree with that.
Yeah, and that's and going into it, that's why I like genres like Latitudes. Like, you meet those guys, they're fucking chill as shit. They're the nicest fucking people you ever meet. No fucking drama. Like, they're cool as fuck. They just make music and they're done. They have basically zero interaction with people on Facebook. They're not posting shitty fucking tweets to get famous. Like, it's all about the music. And if you don't like the music, fine, but that's what it's about. But anything in the hardcore, like the punk and the metal scene, it's just drama after drama, pedophile after pedophile, groomer, fascism, blah 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 blah, and the music sucks ass. And that's why I'm very hesitant to be more involved in the fucking local scene, because that's just all it is. I
Yeah.
hate these people. They're fucking annoying to be around, and it sucks because like I like music. I like talking. I want to meet more people that are good at doing music, but it's just like, fuck, you guys are just, it makes it nothing. Like, from the outside looking in, like, who the fuck would want to be a part of that? Gate kept by a bunch of shitty pedophile musicians. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Get somebody with gauges screaming at me because he said something. I said something he doesn't agree with. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I know,
I fucking
man.
hate everyone.
Right, because it's like, guys, I know I've said some offensive things. I know, like, there's people that probably don't want to talk to me, but I'm like, guys, I'm not making the rules. Like, I'm willing to talk to you. I've talked to my friends about some very uncomfortable topics, but it's like I'll always be willing to talk to you. I'm never gonna be like, nope, you're not. I'm not talking to you. It's like, no, I'll if you have a question, I'll answer you. If you want
Yeah.
to legitimately debate me, I'll do it.
Yeah. It's more annoying for me because like like I fake my fucking personality. Like I'm not gonna start a fight with somebody over bullshit like that. If they say something shitty I don't agree with, I'm just gonna pretend to agree with them. Like it doesn't mean that much to me because at the end of the day, it won't change. So I don't give a fuck enough to argue about anything. So like, if someone says something like, "Oh, we're gonna fight fascism," I'm like, sure, dude, fight the power, whatever. Like I don't, I think it's not like I don't even have a strong opinion like either way. I could do without it, but if it's there, who gives a fuck? But like they really are objectively the most annoying cocksuckers to fucking ever be around your circle. Like you like they just instantly ruin your fucking day
Like
just because how shitty they are.
punk people.
Yeah, or
Oh yeah,
hardcore
yeah,
metal
yeah.
people too. Like most hardcore people are just insufferable to be around, and like it sucks because like being like working in a fucking music store, I have to talk to these people every day, and worst of all, I have to talk to all these fucking right wing boomers too. So it's like I'm getting hit by the shittiest political spectrums of musicians, and it's just like I want to fucking murder the dude.
Oh man,
It's fucking it sucks. I hate it. I hate that like, but again,
nice,
it's
dude. Dude,
God
that's
damn it.
and like my work is literally like, hey boss.
Yeah, the highlight of my day was when the dude that barely speaks English asked me for a capo, and I'm like right there, and he's out in fucking 2 seconds. It's great.
Yeah,
We
right.
don't have to converse.
Right, because they
He's
know what
chill.
the yeah they don't want to risk like saying some wrong shit in English, so like they'll just
Yeah, I
they
mean
don't
it can
want
get awkward at times, but I'm like they're cool. Like they're not
to yeah
they're not mad that I don't understand Spanish. Like I'll translate shit, but like they're not like entitled about it, which is cool.
yeah. Oh no, that happened to me with in a McDonald's one time where this guy like got because this is back when like I didn't really speak Spanish. He got mad that I didn't really understand what he was saying, and then my boss went up to him and she was like, "Hey, like." She's like, "Where are you from?" And he's like, "El Salvador." And she's like, "Well, they're all speaking in Spanish, by the way." She's like, "Where are you from?" El Salvador. And he's like, "What country are we in right now?" America. And he's like, "Okay, what language do they speak in America?" English. And she's like, "Okay, so you can't just expect that everyone speaks Spanish. Like, come on."
I
Yeah.
mean, I think like if you're trying, like I get that it's frustrating for both sides, so that's why like I try my best to be helpful. But I mean, it is an awkward interaction. I'm not gonna lie. And if I had
Mhm.
more time and capacity and someone to practice with, like I really do want to learn fucking Spanish. But just like fuck, it's a lot of time invested to do that because I'm not naturally gifted in that ability. But it's
Yeah.
funny. Like I look back at these podcasts that we do, and I always tell myself like, all right, I'm not gonna get into this shit every fucking podcast because I feel like this is gonna bite me in the ass one day. I know it is. Like I know like I'm gonna get like somewhere and some fucking bitch with blue hair is gonna pull this shit up.
And then they're
It's hard
gonna.
to be like I hate you, but I have to fucking like censor myself in the right ways. Like
Oh
it's like
yeah,
I
yeah.
hate pretending that I have to like tolerate it, but I don't know. It's just such a weird dynamic because like I have a lot of friends on both sides, and I'd say the majority of the people that I'm around are more left leaning. So it's like I have to hear this shit all fucking day, but it's weird for me because like I don't really have a place politically. Like I just apathy just fills me now. So it's like even if they're right, it's like maybe, but you're really fucking annoying. So I'm just gonna assume you're wrong.
Yeah, and like I mean, like, I mean, I've talked about this. I don't know about on the podcast or you specifically. Like, I would describe myself as like I'm just kind of center right. Whereas, like, I mean, I'm just right in the sense that like I'm just so opposed to anything on the left. I'm like, this is just not good for society. So I'm like, anything that's not that, I'm fine with. Um, but there also like I said, like I mean, I look at it through the lens of my Christian faith. So there's just certain things where I'm just like, yeah, I mean, like it's becoming harder and harder to vote a certain way if you really take your Christian faith seriously, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for you, you have more of that stake in it. For me, I look at like
Hmm.
I don't give a shit about what side does it. I just want this like even if it's something I don't think is a good idea, I hope it fucking works. Like we're wasting too much of our energy into potential. So it's like I don't give a shit what political parties in power. Just fucking figure shit out, and that'll be fine. Like I'm not smart enough to have a say either way. What I fucking hate is the rhetoric that everyone says that is fact when all of a sudden they're just becoming the one thing that they despise themselves. Like they're just being intolerant, shitty fucking ideologies all day. So it's like even the people that agree with a lot of like social justice stuff, like even it's getting to the point where it's like, it's no, like everyone's infighting. No one knows what's the actual correct path to be on. Everybody has to get their representation in, so they're fighting about it's.
Yeah.
It's like even if you on that side, it's too much to fucking keep up with. And then you got the
Yeah.
fucking people on the right just saying like, oh, this has to be how life is. This very simple, list of archetypes to be or the way you're supposed to structure your life. So it's just like there's no place to fit in with anybody in this fucking country. Like our choices suck either way, and the people are just god fucking irritating.
Yeah, like you were saying with the people that are so like ideologically driven, it's like
Oh, it drives me insane.
yeah, but like just some of the like
Such hypocrites.
some of the stuff that's just like generally believed now. I'm like, okay, that's like straight up inaccurate. Like just
Yeah.
this is literally like we've been taught lies.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we've
Like
always been taught lies and like half truths and censoring information. Like that's been fucking since the dawn of man. That's just been how bureaucracy works. Like you're not gonna get the full story because it's not in our best interest. I'm sorry, it's not in their best interest. It's in our best interest, but not theirs. That's just how it goes. Like and whatever, fine. We're the whole of humanity is finding out, killing the fucking people, and then the people in power that replace them do the same shit. Like there's never been an equal power balance. It's just tips the scale back and forth, left, right, blah blah blah. Kill this guy, new guy does this shit. It's never gonna get better. So I'm not expecting that to get better. What I can expect is the general people to understand this, and so all the shitty psychology things or all the shitty social things they believe, they realize they have no fucking effect or like any sort of intelligence or any sort of like. It's just all it does is hurt the relationship with everyone around them, and it just makes them sound like entitled, whiny hypocrites because
yeah,
they'll do
cuz
the
like
exact opposite of
yeah.
everything they fucking preach.
Yeah, cuz like I mean I just think like it just when you do that it just leaves you so unsatisfied, you know? It's like
It
there's just
does.
yeah, cuz I'm just like just cuz you don't have everything you could possibly ever want, like that's not a bad thing, right? And and like I'm not saying like a haha, look at me, I have less than you. It's like no, I mean I'm just as privileged as you are, but it's like it gets to a point and like I know America's built on the idea of including everyone and stuff like that and like because it's the only nation. GK Chesterton, he talked about this, which I think is really interesting. America is the only nation that is founded on a creed, as opposed to like it's just an ethno state, and it's like, yeah, well, we're all the same people. So, um, it's like the only creed where it's like with the Declaration of Independence and everything. And I understand like that's what America's all about, right? Is about like like we're all kind of different, but we're not, but like we're uniting over the fact that like we're not going to kill each other, and there's gonna be peace, and we're just gonna try to strive for like a you know like a nice, healthy, functioning society. Which like I mean I guess like when you explain it like that, it like it kind of exposes like some flaws in the creed, right? Because it's like, well, how much stuff is allowed, like who is in on it, because because my thing is I'm like it gets to a certain point where it's like okay, like that's too much. Like I mean I have that opinion about like the LGBT stuff and like among other things where I'm like or like Satanism and stuff like that. I'm like, yes, I understand like America is about including everyone. Like that's what it's about. But it's just like I said, it gets to a certain point where it's like, okay, you're asking for too much. Like that's too much.
It's not even like because like at the end of the day, like we can have our specific code of conduct or creed or whatever. People are gonna fucking do what they're gonna do, regardless. Like I don't like I don't feel like people have a sense of like patriotic duty or like patriotic culture in that way. Obviously, everyone's against it now, but like the whole inclusion thing is just to fucking make money. Like there's like especially with companies, right? It's like companies could give a shit about LGBTQ if that wasn't the
Yeah.
popular thing. Like they'd be against it. Like if like let's pretend like we're back in the days where like you can get killed for it, right? So it's like if that continued into the modern era, you'd have companies like sponsoring that. It's like, oh, don't forget to buy your Apple logoed stones to kill this gay person with. I mean, like they don't give a fuck. So it's like anytime anything's inclusive, it's just under the guise of making money. And most
I
people like people realize that. So it's like inclusion is only like I guess to me it means like you're able to function in society without repercussions just for being what you are. And fair enough. But like, I don't think that it really matters either way, because whatever the shittier rhetoric is going to win. And whatever the thing, like, cause like, it's all the government doing this shit. Like, if like,
Yeah.
they're always pushing some sort of narrative, whether it's right wing ideology or left wing ideology, whatever the fuck, like, it's just bad. So people can either choose to believe it and live their life being annoying as the humanly possible, or they can reject it. And then if they reject it too far and they're super vocal, they're also really fucking annoying. So it's like, there's no way to win this system. So like, you can say all the creeds and you can say all the good words, but at the end of the day, it's not going to make any sort of difference, because the whole system is just not designed for progress. It's designed
Yeah.
for just countless repetition. Like, there's nothing new anyone says.
Yeah,
It's all the same shit. The same
I
fucking arguments, same bullshit.
I think that a lot of like what you said is definitely the case now, but I think like in like the civil rights movement and all that stuff, like that wasn't really the case, because like when you see these people and stuff like that, they were genuinely like, you know what, like they weren't like doing this with the under like with the undertone of America is like bad, like, and America's inherently bad. They were like, no, America's great, we're just not in on it, like, because like
Yeah.
the actual because they were like, it's not living up to, like, this isn't America is what they're saying, like, America's great, just this isn't America, we need to make this America, like we're building on the idea of like the nation that is free for everyone, right? And like, and even like the
Yeah.
way, if you look at like the videos of like the people, like the very peacefully protesting this, like, and like the way they're dressed, like they're all dressed nicely, they're all being respectful, and like what no one wants to mention is a lot what was motivating these people, and like even Martin Luther King, it was his day yesterday. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Was the Christian faith. Like he was saying like Jesus wouldn't want people segregated by just the way they look. That's terrible and stuff. Like Jesus wants us to look at other people as people, right? And not as just like a generic person from the respective race, right? And that's and
Yeah.
but it's like now people want to say, oh no, like segregation and all that stuff was ended by all these like R&B musicians and all. So I'm like, shut up, no, it wasn't. It was the Christian
My
faith.
my biggest thing, so it's like back in that day, like that is a very overtly oppressive system, right? So it's like people died, and I honestly could give a shit if it was peaceful or not. So it's like, in those days, like those were probably deserving of a legitimate like French Revolution, right? People in power needed to die at that time, in my opinion. My thing with that is like Martin Luther King was overly optimistic of like the human concept of good and evil and free will, right? So like, yeah, obviously, like you like if obviously this is postulating, but like if I had to like get into the mindset like back in the civil rights era, so it's like his thing was like, okay, this isn't a America represents, so it's like we want our fair share and not want to be persecuted in society. But what he didn't account for is once that era is over, the government's just going to do it covertly to everyone, and then
Oh
make
well,
people
yeah,
and
because
like,
that's what I was saying. Because then it's like this is just going to lead to, asking for more and stuff like that.
well, it's
And
not even
also,
that. It's just like
no,
there's
because
no
like,
good system to change it to. Like it's he thought that like once the civil rights era is going to be over, like once people like see us as human race as equals, and the fact of prejudice and racism and all that shit is to be overcome by loving thy neighbor. That doesn't fucking matter when you still have an oppressive government, and they just it's a switch, and it's a different way they do it now. It's not as overt, but still, like nothing has really changed in my opinion on the government side. Like they're always just gonna do what the fuck they're gonna do, and like have the public be at unrest at all times possible, because fear motivates politics. You can't have
yeah,
you
because
can't
like,
have that political power without fear. So it's like, yeah, they can't fucking kill black people in the streets
no,
openly.
right,
Obviously, people
right,
can
it's
make the
terrible.
argument for like police, but that's not like that's like cops aren't going and saying, yeah, I like killing black people. Like they're trying to cover their ass so they don't go to fucking jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the Derek Chauvin thing. So it's like we had a video. The guy clearly fucking like it was obviously he's in prison because he fucking kneeled on a guy wearing handcuffs and killed him. Like that's
Like,
apparent.
right, like
But the fucking
no one
discourse
looked
that I
at
had to
that.
hear,
Yeah, like
yeah,
literally no one saw that and was like, "Yep, that's good." Like everyone
yeah,
was
like
like,
even on my
"Yeah," but like I don't understand why people take from that like all cops are bad. I'm like, guys, like what you that's you can that's like that's like a number one rule. It's like, and it's in the Bible too, where it's like you can't do that. You can't just like take one thing and just do reductive reasoning and just like, oh, that applies to all things. It's like, no, that's not like, it's not fair. It's not like, it's not righteous. Like it's not good.
This is a very complex topic, and I think
It is,
really
yes.
the only thing I can say with merit, like the rest of it is just going to be whatever, is like obviously because I know cops personally, and like there obviously are like good people that want to try to better the community, but I think the way that we have our judicial system in place, it is very difficult to be like a good cop. Like there's a lot of corruption and a lot of power and ego that gets involved, and also like the training is just it's it's fucking it's ridiculous the amount of training that police get. Like it's fucking like overweight people can be cops. Like it's not a fucking
Oh
like
yeah, no,
functioning.
that
It's retarded the way they do that. So
it's got to be
bad
more.
training,
Yeah, like it's.
shitty allocation of funding, corrupt system. So it's like it's very hard to be an actual good cop, and that I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's
but
the biggest problem.
that's a different. That's I think that's just a different story as opposed to what I was talking about at least.
Right now, I get the whole point of ACAB versus support the cops. Like I'm not even part of that train because like it's more nuanced than that. Like obviously there's bad cops and there's good cops, but like the good cops mainly get faced, especially nowadays. Like they get so much scrutiny for everything. So it's like the people that are like they don't even like who would want to do that job.
Oh right, like I support the cops in a sense where I'm like, guys, like you can't just see someone in a cop uniform and just look at them with a bad view. Like that's not fair. You know, because it's like,
Yeah,
did they have anything to do with whatever thing you hear about whoever cop did this? It's like no, they're all like they're a
yeah,
person just as much as I am, just as much as you am. Like you know, like just yeah, I don't know. The only people that I
yeah.
judge them how they look are punk people. Or it's like
They
if you
hate
have
cops
a
too.
right, or it's like if you see a Ukraine flag on your house, I'm like, yep, I know everything I need to know about you.
God.
Yep.
Which is sad if you really think about it. It's been so politicized. It's like a war torn conflict, and someone's trying to support, like, oh, fuck that guy. Which is really funny to think about, like how it's been like this, and that's why I'm saying like it doesn't help anything to be that way because
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter if you're right on this issue. You just no one wants to hear you because you just bitch and whine on such an idiotic level. Like
Yeah.
you have shit takes on everything, so like the one thing that you are right about, it's just like no one's gonna hear you because you just kick and scream like a toddler.
Oh yeah,
And
and like
the
the
fuck.
definitely, and like the way in which you actually do argue, you know, like it does matter. Like you could have like the craziest take, but it's like if you actually have like if you're saying it well and you're confident, like that goes much better than some annoying Christian dude. Because right now, like, I mean, obviously, I want to believe the Christian dude because like I'm on his side, but it's like, well,
Yeah.
if you're not really being respectful to the other person, then it's like, well, you know, I don't really know how much I could support you at that point.
Yeah. I think honestly the biggest problem is accountability, and like I guess I'll add another thing to the cop thing. So it's like Derek Chauvin, like he's his case was important because like it's made an example. So like if there's more cases of like you have cops doing something that's clearly fucking illegal and clearly like manslaughter, murder, planting drugs, whatever the fucking case may be, or just like harassment. So it's like actually having accountability, not just like losing the lawsuit or losing the criminal case and then just move around the different departments. So it's like the fact that like if we have more accountability for shitty things that happen on the hand of cops, like I feel like we can get off of this all cops are bad shit. Like I think that's the biggest change, like the social justice or the criminal justice reform thing. So it's like accountability because like body cams, having those everywhere. So when it's a clear case like that, like jail time. So it's like the whole point is like make an example out of shitty cops so we can get off of this fucking track and continue to like can progress as a society. So that's kind of thing. So hopefully that's gonna be the case. And what I don't want to happen though is like it overextends and like a life and death situation gets treated automatically as murder, and then that can go far in hand too. But again, it's the shit just can get complicated. But if you have clear evidence, they need to go to jail. There's no way around it.
Oh yeah. Well,
So that's kind of where I draw that line, because obviously accountability needs to be on both sides. But yeah, the where we
right,
are right now, it's a fucking like it's a dynamite stick ready to go.
right. Well, so my thing, I'm like, obviously, I think it would be better if people just didn't commit crimes, but you kind of have to accept that
That's
people.
always gonna happen.
Well,
Like
right,
that's
like
not gonna like
people,
you're not
like
gonna
I
give.
know, exact, but like, well, okay, but there's certain things where I'm like, we just kind of lack common decency, and it's like, just don't do that. I mean, I don't know. Like, I know, like you said, there's always is gonna be people that do that. I know, but at the same
My
time,
point is the cops that actually do the bad shit, like have them more held to accountable standard. Because like sometimes people argue like, is what the cop did illegal or profiling? Like that you can argue about back and forth all day, and the racial
yeah,
the racial
that.
implications of both sides. But I'm saying like if it's like clear and cut, they've been shown from time to time to like not like penalize it as hard as they should, and I think that's the biggest problem to me. So it's like that doesn't help anybody. Like
Oh
if
yeah,
it's
I
clear,
understand that.
they need to be
The
fucking like accountability needs to be there.
Oh right, and well, so my thing about like the profiling and stuff, and it's like, okay, number one, like if you're not doing anything illegal and you have nothing to hide, then you shouldn't be scared. Just do what the cop says, whatever. And it's like, and for a lot of people, like I don't know if this is if that is how it is, but like I want to say like for a lot of people that is the case. Like they get stopped and it's like, well, I mean, like I said, like I know it can make you mad. I know if you can be treated unfairly, but it's like if you do what he says, there probably won't be any problems. And it's like, well, if there's still problems, then it's like, and you were treated unfairly or you were racially profiled, like you can deal with that later. And like I know you said that like you said, well, the system sucks. And it's, yeah, like I understand that. And it's like, well, you could say, okay, so that's the problem, or you could go, okay, well, at the end of the day, it's like, what was the worst that happened? Like, I don't know, like you got stopped, like nothing. I mean, like you went on with your day. I don't know. Like I know it's probably
Yeah.
annoying. Like I know like that's not a good thing. I've never experienced anything like that, and like I'm sorry if you had, but
Yeah, I mean,
um,
I've met some shitty cops. Like I've had cops like immediately when they pull me over just assume I have drugs in the car. So it's like I've not been like
yeah,
racially profiled, but like I've been like in situations with cops where they're trying to incriminate me. So it's like here's my thing. So it's like I think that like for the people that do get profiled and that's that it's a clear case of that. I think there should be more accountability for when that happens. But then on the upside, there's gonna be people that are gonna like try to bait that out of police, just try to go viral or whatever can have you. So, obviously you got to figure out that shit and just,
yeah,
sift through who's lying and who's not lying and having more body cam and more actual evidence and all that shit to go through it. That's just a necessary evil of society. Like we can't inherently say something happened and we have to figure this out and it's difficult. I just want that process to be better. So it's like if somebody that's a criminal that actually did something can be that's not a racial thing, and then the cop that is profiling that is clearly doing it, then that needs to be taken into account. So it's like I want both of those things to happen at the same time. I want accountability from both sides, and
yeah,
that's the
that's a good
only
way to
way we
look
can
at it.
move past this.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it. Um,
And it's not gonna happen, but it's fucking fun to dream. It's just
so
I hate
hope,
this
yeah,
argument of like
it's
support
hope.
all cops or fuck all cops. Like it's so fucking dumb.
I mean, I'd rather support all cops and fuck all cops, but yeah, I mean, it's also, I mean, it's like priests, It's like there's always going to be shitty priests, like how there's shitty cops or shitty anybody, Like just a profession by its and like I know I'm not saying you think this, but for a lot of people, it's like a profession is not inherently bad. Well, unless you're like like an abortionist or something like that. But that's a completely different topic. But what I wanted to say was like wait, fuck. God, wait. We were talking about the. Oh wait, yeah. Did I tell you I got stopped once?
What happened?
So I was on the way to practice the Christmas play, and I was wearing my costume, right? Then do you remember what that looks like?
I remember you had your face painted, but I don't remember specifically what it was.
No, no, not that. It was the one for the. I was wearing the turban and the robes.
Oh, that one. Oh
That
my
yeah,
god.
that costume. So then
No.
right, so then he pulls me over, and I thought I was like, I knew I shouldn't have worn. I should have just waited to get there and put it on. So
But see, you have that innate reaction. That's what
no, I,
you know what I
I
mean.
know, like, but then I realized, but like, I just did what the officer said, and then I realized, and he's like, "Did you know that your front headlight wasn't on?" I was like, "Oh," Okay, because I didn't know what it was about. Because I was so afraid that like he just saw me like wearing a turban and he thought like, oh shit. But
Yeah,
like that. But like you say, that is my innate reaction. But then it's like, well, I mean, I just did what he said and we got on with it. I just got a warning, which is nice.
yeah,
But
yeah. For
I
me, like
mean,
I'm not worried.
I
Sorry, go
mean,
ahead.
yeah, well, like before, so like I pulled over, like before he actually came up to the way, I like just I took that turban and just took it off and put it in the way.
Like, thank God.
Yeah, and then I was like, yeah, I don't normally dress like this, officer. I'm just going to practice the Christmas play. And he's like, oh, where is it? And I just told him where it was, and then he's like, oh, cool.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's hard to have this conversation because like I clearly know that like cops do racially profile, and then some of them don't. So it's like, is it the majority of them who do or don't? Who knows, right?
I mean,
But
who
for me,
the
like I
dude? Who?
don't have like I don't like when I get pulled over. Like I'm not thinking of like I'm gonna lose my life. I'm thinking of like they're gonna put me in jail for a drug charge. Like I feel like a cop would plant drugs on me more like than they would like think I have a gun and try to kill me. So it's like I don't have that fear. So in that respect, like it is nerve wracking, like no matter who you are to get pulled over by the cops. But obviously if you feel like you're gonna lose your life, that's even more fucking debilitating. So there is some real danger to it. But then the fact that it's been oversensitized got everybody scared that they're gonna get shot by their having a police interaction. It's just done more harm than good. So that's why I think having more accountability, trying to fucking fix relationships between communities and police and all that shit, and just trying to switch it so it's not an inherently oppressive system. Because what they need to stop fucking doing is all these goddamn tickets and all these permits and shit. Like, they need to, like, obviously, if you're dangerously driving, yeah, but like if you're going 15, if you're traveling by yourself at night and you're going 20 over, you should not get a fucking speeding ticket. Like, I'm sorry. You just, like, they need to stop trying to get money for bullshit charges. I think that'll help drastically. Like, they should only be there if you're needed an emergency, or if somebody's, like I said, if they're driving aggressive, if they're becoming aggressive, someone breaks into your house, it's like actually using police resources to not harass people. If you give them less options to do that, I feel like it also would help too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like you only need them in emergencies. Like they're not there to fucking police the streets for jaywalking or fucking all this other dumb shit. So like if you take away their ability to do that, I feel like they'd spend more time actually like busting real criminals and fucking keeping the peace rather than just harassing everyday people for no fucking reason. Like, oh, your taillight's out. Like, thanks, bro. I have to spend money on this. Thanks for also making me spend more money for your ticket. Like, fuck off. Like it's a dumb system the way we have it. So the system needs to change before anything changes.
Wait, I had a question. Like, how do how does the self defense law work? So, like, if someone trespasses, like, do you have the right to shoot them? Or
It depends on the state. I think in Virginia it's like a last resort thing, maybe, or it's like
right, because
you
it's
have
like
to prove like
you have to
you have
call
to
the
prove that
cops
they're
or whatever.
no, you have to prove that your life was in danger. So like if somebody breaks into my house and he doesn't have a weapon and I kill them, I might get a manslaughter charge. But they break into my house and they also have a weapon, then that is more plausible that I could get off with self defense. But it's different from state to state. If you're in Texas, you could probably shoot somebody from your porch. But I heard a story. I think it
What
was
if
in Can. Hmm?
like so if they come in and like they don't mean any harm and you ask them to leave and they don't, you just call the
Then you
cops,
just call
right?
the cops. You can't fucking shoot somebody for that.
I
Unless
see.
like they're coming for you, or like that's what I'm saying. Like I think in Virginia you have to prove that they were like your life was threatened. But I heard a story once about this was some shitty Midwestern state. This lady was home alone and she had a baby and a toddler, and people were trying to break into her house and she could see them from the front porch window. So she like bars the couch and then she goes behind it and she has a shotgun and she's on the phone with 911, and she's like, these people are breaking into my house, what can I do? And she was like, pretty much whatever you feel like you can do to defend your kids. So as soon as they opened the door, she fucking blew them off their porch.
Damn, dude, that's funny.
Yeah. So I did, like I said, it depends on the state, but that's the thing with me. So it's like I don't want to like even like I'm not even thinking about the legality. Like obviously like it's scary. Like I don't want to go to jail for anything, but like I don't want to kill anybody either. Like if somebody was breaking into my house, 99% of the time it's gonna be somebody just trying to steal shit. So it's like a pump of a shotgun will make them flee, or like let's say somebody breaks into my house, I see them, I have a gun on them. I'm not just gonna shoot them. I'm just gonna tell them to leave and call the cops. Like I
Oh
don't
yeah,
want to
yeah,
kill
no, I'm
anybody.
right. Yeah, I would be the same way. I would just like yell at the top of my lungs, like get out, like get the fuck
Yeah.
out. Yeah, like
Yeah, like most people, unless they're psychotic, like a gun will stun them off. Like they'll, you know, those people like they try to steal packages off your porch. As soon as they notice the ring camera, like, oh, sorry, wrong house, and they're fucking like they don't want to be caught. They want to be gone.
Definitely,
But
yeah.
unless it's like your friend sets you up, or it's a love triangle, or it's like they're there to kill you, then yeah, you fucking fight to the death. But most people are just trying to rob your shit. So if they see anybody home, or if they see that you have a gun, then they're fucking gone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to kill anybody. It's not. I don't want that on
Oh,
my
either.
conscience. Like I would try to like I would look up like areas to shoot somebody and potentially like not kill them. So like I'll maim somebody. I could give a shit, but I don't want to fucking kill them.
Yeah, like that scene in Breaking Bad in like the first season where he has to come to grips with like killing somebody.
Yeah, that was brutal.
That was like one of the best scenes I've seen on TV.
Yeah, and he
So
really didn't want
good.
to do it, but it's the fact that he stole the shard of the plate and he's gonna kill him anyway. So
He
it's like
knew
fuck,
that
you
he was
can't.
gonna die, so he's like, and even if, because like, but man, that's the whole scene and dynamic was just such an interesting look at like loyalty and like trust that we have as humans, and like
Yeah.
how we can easily like trick people. It's just like, even if like, do you think that the guy who was chained up had good intentions, or he was just saying that shit just to let him go?
Um. Yeah, he was just saying this shit to let him go.
Right, but it's so weird because it felt so real.
Well, that's the. I mean, it's just great acting. But like, and I don't know. Like if I thought about it from his perspective, drug dealer. Like it's just like it's like the disrespect. It doesn't even matter if it's real moment. He's like in his mind, like he has to kill him. Like
Well, yeah, I guess like it's not like he wasn't thinking like, oh, I need to kill him. Like he was just, well, he's just the guy who locked me up. I need to get out, and the only way I can get out is is killing
if I
him.
kill him, yeah.
Yeah,
So like
I
I don't
guess.
think he cared.
Yeah, which
I feel
which
like you
is
could
sad
still have
either
a real
way.
moment
But
with
yeah,
some. Well, I mean, that is the complexity of life. Like, I feel like you can have a real moment with somebody even though you still want to kill them or try to escape. Like, you can try to fake it to save your life, but, like, you can have a genuine moment and then still have your motives.
yeah, like have you read the Killing Joke, the Batman,
No.
the Batman comic? Like we're at the end, and like people debate about the ending because no one knows what the fuck happens, which is what makes it really cool. Is like the whole thing is like this super deep like philosophical like thing of like the Batman versus the Joker and how like they're alike and everything and stuff like that. Um and like at the end, like Batman's about to kill him, and then the Joker is like no, and then he like tells him a joke, and then they just like start laughing, and then it shows like a panel of like of like it's not showing them anymore, and you see like the ha 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 on the second panel, like the second to last, and then and then the last one, it's just the raindrops hitting the concrete on, and just the ha ha's aren't there. So it's like,
Yeah.
what happened? Like were they just being insane? Were they having a genuine moment? I don't know. It's such a cool scene. And like I said, people debate about that all the time because some people think that Batman killed him, and they just didn't want to show that on the thing. Because it's like I said, it's like the last two panels are like the same thing, right? With the puddle on the ground. It's just one of them has ha ha ha, and then the other one is just nothing. So it's like, I really don't know. It's so fascinating to think about.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I like the reflection because I feel like that's actually a real life moment. Because I've had conversations with people that I cut like fucking can't stand, but like I've laughed really hard with a lot of them. You know what I mean? Like there's always moments where you can share that with somebody. So,
Oh
and that's
yeah.
what I don't like about a lot going back to all this fucking rhetoric that most of these people believe. Like they feel like that can never exist. Like there's just constant enemies to everything. It's like there's no nuance. Nothing can ever progress except the way that you want it to. So that's what I can't stand. Is like they miss out on so much of life being fucking vitriolic to everyone around them.
Well, right.
Even in their own circle. Like it's ignorance all around.
Yeah, and like you said, there's no nuance, but even if there is, it's like there's only nuance within your worldview.
Yeah, it's your own parameters, which is stupid because they have such narrow parameters and they have high standards, unreasonable standards for everyone else around them, and yet they have no accountability for their own actions, and then they'll blame mental illness or blame whatever shit excuse they can, and like it's just so goddamn exhausting to like, and that's why like I unfriend a shit ton of people that are like that because before I used to like the drama. I was like, ooh, who is this dumb bitch fighting today? Like I just it's to the point where it's just like this is too much dumb shit and it's really starting to have an effect on me because like
Yeah, you get
there's no
older and
point in me
just yeah.
it's well, it's like I'm catching myself. So it's like I look forward to waking up to get angry at people. Like that's just retarded. So
Yeah.
delete you out of my life.
Nice. Delete.
It's that simple too. It's just like, what am I holding on to this for? Like the fact that it was entertaining watching people like down spiral. Like I don't know. It's just dumb.
No,
So I
it's
just like
not
I
really
don't want to be a part of
entertaining.
this.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, and they're still doing it to this day. I can guess there's a call out post every fucking day from these idiots. So
Yeah.
gives a fuck. But anyways,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's late. I think we have to leave it here. This was a good one. I like
yeah,
this one. Um.
yeah, good
Yeah.
little 2 hours.
Yeah. It was a nice length. So just tell me about Thursday because I want to be able to do the next one on Tuesday because I want to get them out at a fat. I was kind of slacking and then. Well, no, I was working on a playlist and then it got the copyright thing. So then there was things and it didn't let me post it. So I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
And it
as
was
I say, I would just post the last one.
right, but it was such a great, like it was such a bomb playlist. Oh, it was the Mexican playlist. But then
Yeah,
so
YouTube is really fucking getting fascist about it.
yeah, well so and then I was like, okay, let me just take a look at what songs were copyrighted, and then I can just edit it from there. The only problem is, so out of like 20 songs, like 14 of them got copyrighted. So I'm like, what? No, I just forget the Mexican. Like, this playlist will be different. Like, um, so then that happened, and then I tried to do a Brazilian one, and that one I actually can do because out of like 20, I think maybe 8 or 9 did, which is less, right? So I think I could, or even less than that. It's probably like 6, and I could definitely change 6 songs out of 20. I think.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
I concur.
right. But I just felt bad because like I spent all that time and I didn't even get a post out of it because I'm sure like because I'm dude, I've got so many views on my playlist. It's crazy, and I've built up a following. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, it is kind of a kick in the nuts, but working around copyright's always a bitch, especially the way that YouTube does it. So it's
yeah.
good luck.
Yeah. Well,
Can't be me.
I'll figure it out. Well, I'm tired of shit. So good night, man.
Good night.
Yeah.